I have a
Germany.
Cool. Oh boy, my thing is loud. Dodo, donate $2. Can you check if Destiny responded to you about Brian Tyler Cohen's anti-Semitic video? Go on call with him and force him to announce it on stream and point out how all those viewers said that Destiny lost the last debate and that you should 2v2 Professor Dave. As far as I understand, Destiny actually did do a live stream today where he addressed that. He's not live right now, but, yeah, he did, in fact, do a stream where he addressed the Brian Tyler Cohen thing. I don't know exactly what he said. I think he was motivated to actually do it and criticize him for it because I called him a fucking hypocrite in the message I sent him, so it sounds like I was convincing. But next time he's live, I'll try to get on with him and talk about it. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yo, VG, what's good, man? I was in the gym when you was training. Dope. I'm good. I'm just fucking... Dude, I'm just so fucking exhausted right now.
4 women for the most common attacks against women. Including an MMA fighter, a self-defense expert, a judo black belt, and a scientist.
Yeah, self-defense expert. Let me guess, she's gonna do the worst.
So you could learn from their good and bad decisions. And to
Dude, okay, well, I guess they're not used to fighting men.
find out who will become the ultimate women's self-defense champion. So,
Welcome to the Women's Self-Defense Championship.
with the first you can
Bro, if you live in the United States and you're a woman who claims to be like some kind of self-defense expert or teacher or whatever, how in the fuck are you not training women on how to use a gun?
Are you gonna upload your critique of that stupid video Dave did? I am thinking of challenging him to a cage match.
Yeah, I think I will. I have to edit it quite a bit, and it's pretty tedious, that editing work, because I'm pretty sure the stream got blocked because of the stupid violent shit that he showed in the video where kids are, like, bleeding and shit. So I have to censor that. And it's, like, sporadic throughout, like, that hour, 30-minute long video, and then my response to it was so long, so, like, it's kind of a pain in the ass to edit. Thanks for the donation, though, Fad Fudge.
contestants, an MMA fighter, and a scientist, having gone through 6 different
My name is Xenia Rodes, I'm 34 years old, I'm from Holland and I'm a student and teacher of School of Self-Protection Street Tactics. They use the principles of urban combatives. We don't call it a system, that's the first thing, we call it principles. And that's the principles that keep standing under real fight stress, constant, offensive, forward.
So, like, unless you're fighting a really, really weak guy, you're just not doing this to a dude.
Pressure and a lot of gross motor skills, things that's tested under real stress that stays.
How do you feel being here?
A little bit nervous.
Makes sense. Let me introduce you to...
It's just basic physics. Women are too small to hurt a dude. And then on top of that, like just their nervous system efficiency and all that, like they're just slow. So they just can't hurt men.
To the other contestants, your competitors.
Nice to meet you, Xenia.
Nigla, the scientist.
Yeah, that's going exactly how I thought it would. Probably going pretty easy on him too. Dodo, Donny Tillers, where did you get the idea? He responded to it. I don't know if it's a different stream, but I don't see it here, but maybe he just talked about it, didn't actually play the video on stream. So this was Kick. Somebody told me during my workout stream, he talked about it at the beginning.
What do you mean by that?
Post, Barbarossa were allies with respect to that goal, right?
Yeah,
that's
they weren't
not
friends, but
controversial.
they were allies.
This motherfucker, if she's hungry, she will go and find something crinkly and just like.
Like Europe gave like some human spawn there, and then in North America, Pocahontas.
21st donated $2. Yeah, I'm not watching that. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Spawn there, and in South America, like people like.
What do people have against self-defense VG?
Well, I guess it's the loud noise aspect of self-defense if you're using a gun. You know, gay, retarded shit. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
We all came from Africa. It only goes back. So
Former
white people said the
on the edge. Yeah, he did a
Peak
great.
women's self-defense.
Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Yeah, I guess I'll talk to him about it. Let me see.
Give me your purse, now!
That's my purse. Don't be afraid to shout it. That's my purse! Try it again. That's my purse! I don't know you!
Give me your purse!
Yeah, that usually doesn't work, by the way. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
Xenia held up against a much larger attacker, significantly better than the first two contestants, impressing the difficult to impress judges.
Xenia is ready to go to town. She used a lot of his energy to manipulate the positions. I'm giving her an 8 on this one.
I am believing that without the helmet, with those hits, with the hammer fist, she's having a good chance to slow down the attack.
Her emotions now.
I don't know.
By the way, she's by far the biggest girl out of all 3 or 4 of them. Like, she's massive compared to them. Dodo, don't need $2. Let me see.
So we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate. True. Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them. Yep. Abolish ICE. Absolutely. Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
Do you see a bug? Gum, what are you doing? Oh, I think he's chasing a fly. Oh, the fly got away.
As a long-term plan, yep. Defund the Pentagon. Absolutely. Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of...
Dude, the DSA is, like, actually just trying to destroy America.
most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see, get rid of the presidency, Senate. Like, what that really means is they want some, like, I don't know. It's either some sort of fascist totalitarian rule or complete anarchy, complete open borders. Great idea. Get rid of the police, get rid of prisons. I'm trying to think of a comparable society, like maybe Mad Max. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh. Wow. That's pretty good. Leader Yair Lapid, who calls for expanding Israel to its biblical borders. Honestly, hell yeah, colonialism's great. Like, they're not really going to be able to do that, but... The state could stretch as far as Iraq? No. Like, it'd be great if they could, but... yeah, that's not possible.
Do you think there should be conditions?
I'm telling you, it's like Mad Max, Fury Road, only much worse.
Yeah, I guess there would be more Muslims. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
On the aid the United States sends to Jerusalem and Tel Aviv?
Absolutely not. I'm not for conditions, particularly in this circumstance. That's what detractors of Israel are pushing for. And we have a country, a very close ally of the United States, the only democracy in the Middle East that has been attacked, that's in the middle of a war, that is reckoning with their own civilians being taken hostage and put into terrible, terrible situations.
Yeah, she's based. And yeah, everyone's like, APEC, stupid. Zohran Mamdani recovers $104 million in extra tips for New York City workers from delivery apps. What?
Genetic beast mogging you at the buffet. He misspelled unintelligence in the thumbnail too, lol.
Alright, I'll take a look at that in a second. Thanks for the donation, nigga. I don't know what the fuck this is. Twitter bullshit.
What would you estimate genetic beast's IQ to be? Probably borderline retarded. Very, like, yeah.
Why is there this dumb music? So he's very overweight. So yeah. Okay, so he eats a lot of that. So avoid eating this food because it's making him fat. I guess avoid eating that because that's making him fat too. Okay, avoid eating that because he's fat. Definitely avoid eating that. That'll make you fat. Dude, buffets are disgusting too. Yeah, so there he is being fatter and less muscular than me.
And the feminist would be over forever, and let's face it, the woman would be far too afraid to stand up to the Muslims.
Yeah, it's funny how there's a disproportionate amount of women who support the DSA and this defunding the police shit. but then they're also like pro Me Too. Who exactly is going to help bring rapists to justice if the police and legal system aren't there? Like, they also want to ban guns. I don't know how they're going to do that without the police, right? Like, it is just so outrageously retarded. I wish we could put them on an island or like some uninhabited nation, and then they can form the society they want, and they can watch just how bad that works out for them. It would literally turn into fucking Rape Island. All the fucking Muslims and shit would just go there and just rape all of them and keep them as like brood sows. Maybe not, because they're like fat. Maybe even like Muslims wouldn't want to fuck them. I don't know. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo Donate Tellers is probably lying. Strengthening vaccine safety, accountability, American leadership, and global health. This is, yeah, this is just stupid. Yeah, this is just nonsense. While Europe and the US have eliminated mercury-laced vaccines, that's... Oh my god. Dude, the mercury in vaccines thing is just crazy. As far as I know, there was only like 2 vaccines that even used mercury. The one was the flu vaccine. So when people think of mercury, they're thinking of elemental mercury. There's a difference between elemental mercury and thimerosal, the mercury that they add to vaccines. It cannot enter your cell membranes. So all, like, you can use a bunch of different heavy metals. Mercury is one of them. Aluminum is one of them. It doesn't enter, like, systemic circulation. All it does is it helps the immune response so that the vaccine's more effective. And again, even if, like, the mercury vaccine, if you had, like, some kind of nicking of a vein, let's say, it cannot enter any of your body's cells and cause damage. It's not elemental mercury. Like, these people don't fucking understand anything. GAVI continues to inject more than 72 million African and Asian children with cheap jabs containing bolus doses of the world's most potent neurotoxin. No, because it's not elemental mercury. You get more mercury, which happens to be the bad elemental mercury type, from eating fish. You fucking idiot. The billions spent on DEI and HHS during the Biden administration did not prevent glaringly racist policies that protected white populations from mercury-containing vaccines, while exposing black and brown children to them. The only reason they got rid of the mercury-containing vaccines was just because they understood normal people are stupid. And you can explain this to them. There's a difference between elemental mercury and the thimerosal mercury that's in the vaccines, but they're not going to understand it. They just hear mercury and they just go dum-dum. So they got rid of the mercury in the vaccines because they could just use some other fucking irritant or heavy metal. And then they wouldn't have that kind of like public adoption issue with like the mercury fucking fear-mongering. It has nothing to do with them not caring about black people and just putting mercury in vaccines. It's just they don't have to worry about that in Africa. Here, with dumbasses like you who are literally infected with brainworms, yeah, they had to take mercury out of vaccines, otherwise you wouldn't fucking take them. Under President Trump leadership, GAVI has agreed to eliminate mercury from vaccines it provides to children. There's an enormous victory for global health. It's not. There's never been any link to thimerosal in vaccines and any fucking health issue.
Clav stealing another guy's girl. Who in their right mind would let their girlfriend go on a so-called girls' trip to Miami alone?
I would cheat on my Australian boyfriend with your.
Okay, let's do it.
You down?
Yeah.
Even. Never happened.
Because most guys.
Yeah, so here's a pro tip. Don't date dumb whores. It's that simple. You might think they're hot, but they're still a dumb whore. So if you don't want to date a dumb whore who does this shit, don't date a dumb whore. Thanks for that donation, nigga. Community note strike again. Before you attack somebody overvote, make sure you've got the right guy. What is this? This isn't me, Josh. That's the other black congresswoman, but you know that, right? Just like I know who my own governor is. Point is, the party should be big enough for who you consider bomb throwers. Apparently you can love war, but not healthcare or working class policies. What the fuck is this? Wait. I don't know the I don't understand the context about this. Yeah, I don't get it.
And speaking of Muslims, VG reacts to this.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You told me about that earlier. We can watch that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. What would you have done if you were in Andres Mayev's position where a hacker was threatening to release your personal details? It wasn't personal details. It was intimate video of his him and his wife. Call the police. Don't pay him anything. Like, it's just fucking stupid.
Me, there's always an update, I feel like, in your story, and it's always a shocking update. And you know, for those who don't know, you have spent the last number of years now in a battle over a tweet and a pamphlet that you wrote and an interview that you did talking.
Yeah, I'm not bald. I just shaved my head. So there's a bit of a difference there. It's kind of like if it were the opposite and I was wearing a wig, and then you made fun of me for having hair. It's like...
About your Christian views on marriage. And, you know, we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but the latest development after the Supreme Court case unfolded in your country, in Finland, that found you guilty over writing this pamphlet, guilty of sharing your faith, essentially. It's been a shocking.
So the European government is fine with letting in Muslims who are the most bigoted fucking retards imaginable. They're against gay marriage. They hate all other religions. They call them kafirs. They're lesser than animals. But when a Christian woman defends like this idea of biblical marriage where it has to be between a man and a woman and all that shit, oh, that's bad. We're going to have to charge you. You're a bad person. You can't come into the country, but we'll let in literal radical fucking Muslims who are even more extreme than she is. This is literally communist brain rot infestation where they are literally trying to punish white Christians. That's all it is. When they live in at least used to live in a majority white Christian nation. Like, what the fuck is this? They've literally created a fucking two-tier society where like people who are actually born there and from that culture have less rights and freedoms than fucking Muslim immigrants. Do you know the juice boxes sacrifice animals for a religious ritual? What the fuck is... What are you talking about? Dodo, don't tell her this is the context. Oh, I see. Okay. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Shocking moment. I know you're appealing that case, and we'll talk about that as well. But the latest development is that you learned that your UK travel authorization was revoked. Now, explain.
Oh, he means Jews. Okay. What's your fucking point? Why would you get the idea that I support religious, ritualistic slaughter? Fucking idiot.
How did you learn that, and what does that mean exactly?
Yes, I was going to a conference to California, to San Diego, and before that, I learned that I have to apply for the ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization. It is nowadays they demand that, and the Bishop Juhana Pohjola, who also was convicted because of my booklet, he told me that he was cancelled, that his appeal for this ETA was cancelled. And after that, I made also the appeal. And at first, at the 17th of June, I got a positive answer. But then just 2 days before my travel, I got an email from the government of UK where they said that, that my application was cancelled because of what.
Destiny looks at the Netanyahu thing at 5:48 on his stream. Where the fuck was that? Who linked me the video? Wait, just in case. The hell?
See? No, I did not see that. That's
why?
I don't understand. Wait, I don't understand the nature of the relationship. If you conceded to me about 45 minutes ago that they.
And he literally didn't bother saying anything about it. Yeah, go figure. Who is that fucking, like, Adam Mockler was promoting the same fucking stupid horseshit. Divest from Israel, they're committing a genocide, don't support any Democratic candidate that supports Israel or is funded by AIPAC. And then Destiny refused to call out Adam Mockler for that retardation. And again, this is the DSA brain rot that this guy says he's against. But, oh, guess what? He makes videos and does collabs and shit with Adam Mockler. Same with fucking Brian Tyler Cohen. He's supporting this, like, DSA fucking anti-Semite retardation fucking bullshit. Supporting Zoran Mamdani. And then he refuses to fucking even criticize him for it and just laughs at his, like, fucking anti-Semite video. Where he's spreading, like, these fucking anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Oh, the Jews are controlling the United States government. Destiny's like a fucking clown, dude. Let me see Dodo.
سيدة بدي أقول لك اطلع من المخيم اسكني بمكان تاني بتروحي؟
لا طبعا.
If I die, I will die in my homeland. Palestinian girl, right? So she's stupid.
لو شو ما ينطوني إن شاء الله ينطوني مليون إن شاء الله ينطوني 2000 مليونين مش طالع.
ولو الجيش بلش يقصف؟
يقصف يعني بدي أخاف منها. ما هم كلاب أصلا لو فلتوا الطيارات والسلاح بيصيروا ببوسوا.
Without their fighter jets, they're nothing. Oh, okay. Please explain to me the fucking Nakba then, you dumbass.
جرنا. دي يطلعونا من أرضنا مش رح نطلع. شو ما يصير يصير مش رح نطلع هاي أرضنا وأرض جدودنا مش رح نطلع.
She has a lot of plaque on her teeth for a fucking kid. Okay, so these people are just degenerate retards. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. What the hell are you doing? Dodo, donate tillers. No, AOC is not any worse than JD Vance. Changed my mind.
Vance recently told Joe Rogan that Israel is attempting to undermine the end to the war in Iran. And I want to quote him. He said that people in your system are manipulating and trying to change American public opinion to keep the war going on. How do you respond to that?
Well, we're not actually. And I had a very good conversation with the vice president this morning. And I think we straightened that out because we're not. That's not our policy. Individuals in our system can have their opinions, but
I think JD Vance is just saying what Trump wanted him to say. The guy's a fucking retard. And he's completely spineless. He'll just say whatever he needs to get ahead in his career. Like Trump criticizing Israel over the fucking attacking Hezbollah during the Iran negotiations. That was just absurd. Why the hell does Iran get to decide if Israel attacks southern Lebanon? Like, it makes no sense. Why, like, Trump's just a fucking dumbass, dude. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
I had told about my conviction. And
because you had to divulge, you had to put down, I would imagine, that you had a conviction. Now, because they brought you up on trial and you were convicted at the Supreme Court after winning twice, by the way, because you had to write that down, I would imagine, and that's the reason they denied you.
Yes, that is just the reason. And then I had to change my travel, so I couldn't go to Heathrow, but I changed this return flight. But now I have the problem that I'm invited to speak in Northern Ireland next month in August in a conference about freedom of speech and freedom.
Why didn't that, oh. I see.
Can we react to this video in its entirety? Thanks.
Dude, I wish we could. That'd be great. Thanks for the donation, Poopy. 4GE, Donny Tillers, what did you expect Destiny to say, dude? He laughed at the fact that Brian posted that if you cry about racism or anti-Semitism every single time and can't be a little edgy or make fun of it, then you're just as bad as an SJW. Okay, you're retarded. Thanks for the donation, dumbass.
Freedom of faith. It is a banger.
A little girl not being afraid of fighter jets is like a volcano rabbit not being afraid of lava, although a rabbit that's resistant to lava would be pretty metal.
I don't think they call them lava rabbits because they're resistant to lava. But thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Worldwide Missionary Convention, a big conference for Christians, and now I don't know how to get there. I just today I got to an immigration center here in Finland.
UTA, this UK travel authorization, because I think a lot of people probably don't know what this is and what it means. It allows you to travel within the UK. Do you have to have that authorization to be able to do that on airplanes?
Yeah, it is like if you want to travel from Europe to US, you have the ESTA procedure. It is a similar one, and it is quite new. It was just last year when they started to demand this authorization. I belong to a friendship group of British parliamentarians in my parliament, so I
just want to clarify, like, this impacts your ability to easily travel in the UK, and it could be permanent.
Yeah, so being Christian gets you banned from the UK, but if you're Muslim and a terrorist, they just let you in.
Lauren, you caught up with Dr. Fauci's attorney after he was forced to leave this hearing room amid this dispute with the Republican chair of the committee. What did he tell you? Have an
response. Dr. Anthony Fauci, he's invoking the Fifth Amendment in a very contentious Capitol Hill hearing amid questions related to the COVID pandemic response. The Republican chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky issued a subpoena for Fauci, the former head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, to appear before his panel.
Fauci and Paul, a trained ophthalmologist, have an acrimonious history, to say the least, with Paul even calling for Fauci to face criminal consequences. Before today's hearing, the committee released more than 1,000 pages of the doctor's personal diary from 20.
No, I'm not going to watch the new Spider-Man. I'm not going to watch the new Avengers Doomsday. Mark Ruffalo's in it. I'm not watching a movie with that fucking anti-Semite prick.
2019.
JP, don't need $2. Let me see. Frank Tufano, the 33-year-old man-child, needs to come out of the closet already.
See? I don't have to make videos about girls getting their brains railed out by their favorite tall, ugly dude because they go online now and openly admit it in 2026. When I left him for self-respect, but then 10 p.m. rolls around, there's 100,000 likes on this post. So, what did like 20% of young girls in America like this? It's absolutely crazy. They have nothing in their lives to do or think about other than their roster of dudes. It's crazy.
You're gay, so I don't know why the fuck you care.
Organic versus non-organic, let's talk about it. So organic obviously means that
So this girl never really answered the question, has absolutely no clue what she's talking about, because if you just do a quick Google search and read the list of
Organic's just a fucking scam.
Of USDA organic requirements, it pretty much will answer your questions, but I simplified this in a YouTube video I did several years ago. If you just search Frank Tufano organic on YouTube, that's like the full in-depth explanation. Short answer.
This is like the nerdotic critical drinker crew having their viewers not watch The Odyssey because black female. Yeah, because being black is the same as being an anti-Semite, right? Thank you for your dumbass opinion, retard.
Answer is organic is.
It's actually not in Doomsday. Brand New Day is supposed to take place in the same time as Doomsday. Oh, I see. I'm not going to see Doomsday anyway because I just can't be fucked with Marvel movies.
Much better. The long answer is, you know, there are certain things they can and can't use, and for the most part, everything used in organic farming is much better. The problem is a USDA organic.
It is not much better. Oftentimes, it's lower quality.
Organic certification and all that stuff. It's mainly for plant foods. You know, when you're buying your produce, your grains, your fruits, your vegetables, you want to go organic. When you're buying the meats and the animal products, you just want to go the highest quality rate.
Okay, nice and dumb.
To 2022. The entry document Fauci's growing fame at the time, shining a light on his interactions with celebrities and members of the media, including some
4G, don't tell us if Mark Ruffalo were racist against blacks instead of anti-Semitic, you'd still watch the movie. Oh, weird. Depends to what extent.
CNN
Thanks for the donation, dude.
journalists. The diary also narrates Fauci's escalating concerns about COVID-19 and conflicting relationships with both Trump and Biden administration officials. So let's go live now to CNN congressional correspondent Lauren Fox on Capitol Hill and CNN's Kevin Liptak at the White House. We also have CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig with us as this dispute with the Republican.
Yeah, essentially, he was just trying in the room to explain why Dr. Fauci was pleading the Fifth. And while he kept talking, it was clear that Rand Paul repeatedly told him that he was not authorized to speak in the committee room, that he could not speak on behalf of his client, and that he wasn't even supposed to be sitting next to him during that committee hearing. When he continued to try to speak, he then was kicked out of the room. And that's when I caught up with him, and we were pressing him on.
Professor Dave made a hit piece video on Destiny, bashing him for supporting Israel. It was a hard watch. Unfortunately, many people watched it. Professor Dave doesn't even have a PhD, so he shouldn't even call himself a professor.
Yes, we reacted to the entire video yesterday. I know. Thanks for that donation, dude.
On what exactly he was trying to say, because we couldn't hear given the fact the microphone wasn't on. And he essentially said that he was just trying to explain why he was pleading the Fifth. Here he was with us. Have you ever seen this happen in a congressional hearing?
Fauci has a valid Fifth Amendment privilege, and he has the right to assert it.
And that's what you were trying to say.
That's what I was trying to tell the committee.
And obviously, I've covered a lot of these hearings on Capitol Hill. Very, very tense things where Senator Rand Paul was the chairman. I have never seen a lawyer of
This Fauci shit is just so overblown.
BTW, Mark Ruffalo is also going to voice a cat in an upcoming Pixar film, so I suppose you're not going to see that either, since he is in it.
Yeah.
Start yapping. Where is the tuna? Sorry.
Yeah, I won't watch that either. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Time. It was actually a very decent fight. She get a lot of I think without the helmet of mistakes which get her into bad positions, and then she suddenly started hitting him, get up, get up.
You look happy.
Well, I'm happy it's over. The last one, I think it was good. Other could be better, but that's violent.
Or just kind of run around the mat. And I'll show you this part as well with your computer/retreat.
Like the first round, I'm hoping to settle.
April, are you ready?
It's a shame because you love cats, VG.
Yeah, it is a shame. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, so all this proves is that women should carry a gun if they actually care about self-defense. So, it's plain and simple physics. There's like 100-pound weight difference and a fucking sex difference. You're just losing. All right, let's watch some of these Frank shorts. Looks like he's up to some retarded shit.
Dr. Taban has effectively ruined my life. I'm half blind, I'm disabled, and I'm laying in bed 18-20 hours a day. And what's he doing? Nothing. Maybe he lost some money and some patience because his reputation is now truthful, but he's still in practice. He hasn't been penalized. He hasn't been forced to pay me. You know, if I look left or I look right, I'm basically blind. I have no peripheral vision. My eyes look really weird from most angles. You know, I used to take pictures and like looking down at my camera like, hey, what's up, guys? Now I look like a weirdo freak. You know, I look to the left, my eye wanders. I look to the right, my eye wanders. You know, when I close my eyes, when I blink, it's really uneven. They look really weird. My eyelids are messed up. And I don't have money. I can't afford the revision surgeries that I need or the insurance coverage to, you know, I'm at least 2 or 3 surgeries away from fixing some problems that still might not be fixed.
And whose fault is that? For doing surgery that was unnecessary and you were warned this was a potential side effect.
We're gonna get these two. Cosmic Crisp are my favorite.
What a strange collab, huh? I wonder why Clavicular didn't ask Paul Saladino if he paid Dr. Taban to botch me. And if you didn't know Paul Saladino's backstory,
it's fucking insane.
It's a pretty extensive history of ruining my life.
Yeah, he thinks Paul Saladino paid another doctor to botch him. Just fucking stupid.
Starting with getting my business shut down in New York. Then...
How the hell did Paul get his business shut down in New York? It wasn't even shut down. The USDA just raided his building and told him some of the shit he was doing was illegal. So he just had to throw out a bunch of meat that he was illegally selling.
He got me kicked out of my own home, turning my family against me.
He did not get you kicked out of your home. So Frank was living with his parents rent-free. Frank put his parents' address as his business address. So when Paul sued him, obviously they're going to send Like not only is not only was that listed as his business address, that was also his residence. So where is Paul supposed to send you mail to serve you? And then Frank also put his mom as, it was like a CFO or something of his business. So Paul was conducting a lawsuit against Frank and his business. And because Frank, for whatever reason, put his mom as part of his business, she ended up getting a legal letter. So then his mom freaked out and kicked him out. But that was all Frank's fault.
Oh well, I guess we will stick to Felidae then.
Don't think I've ever seen this. All right. Well, thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And that's the reason to this day I haven't spoken to my family since he did that to me years ago. And this little stuff really creeps me out. It really creeps me out, you know. I started selling Cosmic Crisp apples as my favorite apple with our organic produce selection on Frankie's Strange Meat. And it's almost like, you know, does this guy have a blob doll with my face on it? Does he follow me everywhere and replicate everything?
So because Paul likes the same apples that Frank does, Frank thinks Paul is obsessed with him. And, like, what a weirdo.
Thing I do, which a judge said, by the way, I cannot say. I can't claim that Paul Saladino copied me or plagiarized me, but, you know, it is a bit of an unusual collab. It is a bit...
Oh, yeah, it's weird that he likes the same type of apple you do. Totally strange.
Weird that I've been in the looks maxing space for the past few years, and it's even stranger that he's eating Cosmic Crisp. It's just that...
He has not been in the looks maxing space. He's just a retard. Everything this guy's done has been a looks downgrade.
Really detailed, weird stuff that creeps me out. You know, who is this guy? Why does he keep popping up?
My testosterone was, I think, 550 total before I went on gear.
You should watch it. It's a very dark animated German murder mystery with cats.
All right, maybe I'll give it a watch. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, my testosterone was 550. That's the total test before I went on gear. When I first hopped on, I was taking 210 milligrams a week of test sip. That put me at 2,220. And then last I got my testosterone checked, I was at over 5,000.
And if you knew who I was, this collab would make a lot more sense. Really, really strange, creepy stuff.
Frank literally thinks he's like the center of the universe. Ever heard the animated movie Waterside Down? Don't you mean Watership Down? With the rabbits? I've seen that.
I finished cutting my lip, and I did not make the same mistake this time, and I actually
Holy room temperature IQ.
This guy performed surgery on himself and cut the edges of his fucking mouth. What the fuck?
Check, dude. There is a procedure that does this, but you don't just cut your lips open and it makes them wider. They have to like position the skin and all that type of stuff. This is crazy. This is crazy. Like taking a pair of scissors instead of saving up some money and going to this isn't even that expensive of a procedure. I can't imagine it's more than a few $1,000s. This is insane. Now, if you want the cheaper alternative, you can get lip filler like that. Lip filler like that widens your lips. Very big secret no one talks about. Lip filler like that widens your lips on the edges. Don't get lip filler here. Just get it on the edges and it'll widen your lips to the point where most people would be happy. In his case, I think that's going to be enough. Just go to the best lip filler specialist in the area. $400, $500, $600. There you go.
Retards being retarded. May in fact even be dumber than Frank. That is really dumb. Shockingly stupid.
Is a YouTube prankster turned predator catcher who was recently arrested during one of his sting operations. The body cam footage showed his full-blown meltdown while being put in the back of a squad car.
I am a multi-millionaire. I promise you, I can take this as far as you want. Officer, you will be in a deposition and you will be arrested.
While he faced a lot of scrutiny, he wisely apologized shortly after. In a video most people saw as sincere.
This is genuinely, and I think what it is genuinely.
What many don't realize is that this is part of a pattern for Jidion, wherein reckless.
This guy is an entitled man-child retard.
Clout-seeking backfires, and in some cases, his actions directly lead to people being victimized by the very creeps he swears to target.
When EDP joined my Discord when he was about to do the interview with us, he didn't join, but he found a girl in my Discord.
Jidion has been getting himself in trouble from the very beginning of his content creation journey. It's actually why anyone liked him in the first place. After finding some virality on YouTube, doing comedic interviews at his high school, he began exploding in popularity thanks to his prank videos, quickly amassing over 1 million followers on both TikTok and YouTube. While the videos themselves were definitely inflammatory, especially to those who were provoked in them, he still managed to build an extremely successful and lucrative career on YouTube without getting himself into any major public controversy. However, this would suddenly change after he began streaming on Twitch. Only one day after officially becoming a partner on the platform, Jidion was suspended for 2 weeks for violating the website's harassment policy. This suspension came after Jidion saw that fellow streamer Pokimane was live and prompted his viewers to spam L plus ratio in her chat.
Oh nah, bro.
Ratio, bro. I want to rate, bro. Please.
No, Jidion.
Poki quickly took note of the raid, initially doing her best to ignore it. However, as it persisted, she began hearing word from her mod team that members of Jidion's community were using the whisper function to privately message members of her chat and send hateful comments, prompting her to end the stream early.
I think I'm gonna end stream because
I believe that's how it works. I'm pretty sure.
like as much as I can deal with this, I don't like that people from his community are with.
She is the most fake fucking person on the fucking internet. I can't stand Pokimane.
Bring people on my stream.
She also made remarks about the behavior before signing off, stating, "I think it's against the terms of service to do stuff like that, to send your viewers to on another streamer, because Twitch has a harassment policy. Brigading is against the rules. I'm pretty sure. I'm tired of being Incel's punching bag. Go be sad about yourself and insecure elsewhere." Considering his behavior and Pokimane.
Thoughts on taking IGF-1LR3 before test? If not, what do you recommend for first-time gear users?
Testosterone. And IGF-1 LR3 doesn't really do anything. I've heard some people claim that it works at very high doses, so like 3 milligrams or more in one shot, which is going to end up being very expensive. So it's like, why would you even fucking bother? You'd get way better results from growth hormone, and with the doses you'd be using for growth hormone that are actually effective, assuming you're getting it from a good supplier, it'd probably end up being cheaper anyway. It's not too difficult to find growth hormone that's priced at $1 per IU. So 5 IUs is where you're going to get a very noticeable performance enhancement benefit. And that's $5 per day. That's like a Starbucks coffee. And if you're just taking it on training days, so if you're working out like 3 or 4 days a week, you know, it's not that expensive. A lot of people could afford that. So I wouldn't waste my time with IGF-1 LR3. It's not that good to begin with. It will literally do nothing if you take it at lower doses, and if it does anything at higher doses, it ends up being more expensive than just growth hormone. But if you want to start taking like performance enhancement, just go on testosterone. It's extremely well tolerated. It literally does nothing but make you healthier. Lowers your cholesterol, improves insulin sensitivity, great for fucking mental health. You know, cardioprotective benefits and all that shit. So, that would be the most ideal choice. And I would just start at 20 milligrams per day. Thanks for the donation, Nick. C, donate $2. This is Destiny stream where he reacts to Dave. Starts at 4:04:17. I'm not going to bother watching that. Thanks for the donation, though, dude. Dodo, donate $2. Wow, that's crazy. We've already reacted to the entire Dave video. I'm not going to react to it again and watch Destiny react to it, but thanks.
Though I must warn you, VG, it is a very dark film with scenes like this.
Yeah, that looks not so great. I like cats. I don't know, I might watch it anyway. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Crazy. Iranian state media has released a video indicating that they have an interest in killing Barron Trump and Melania Trump. And the Trump family is now on alert, and I am going to argue that even if it is extraordinarily unrealistic that they could get to Melania and Barron, that this still has the very real possibility of ruining their lives, and of course it is wildly triggering Donald Trump. Iranian state media put out a video, it's a propaganda video, and it is a very detailed fantasy.
Only downside of testosterone injections is injections got a crazy lump today because I think I hit a vein. I've hit a vein before, but it was like the only veins are really on the surface, and I had blood squirt out, and there was a little lump that was there for like maybe 5-10 minutes, but it went away. That's weird. I've never heard of anybody having a big lump from injecting test. I like needles. Like, I actually like injecting, so.
About murdering Melania Trump, followed by a threat against Barron Trump. The video is called Where to Kill Melania. It was published by the Tasnim news agency. That's an outlet affiliated with Iran.
Dude, why are you on only 50 milligrams of test a week? That's fucking retarded. Your test levels went from 240 to 440. Why the fuck not take more? Like, assuming you're not some, like, weird hyper-aromatizer, take more. Get your test to, like, well over 1,000. Really weird.
Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. And it's not like anonymous making a troll video. This from the basement of their grandmother's, whatever. This is a formally listed group linked to the IRGC. It's one of the most powerful arms of the Iranian regime. And the video uses maps, it uses AI imagery, it uses publicly available information to depict Melania Trump's movements through New York City. It points to locations she's known to visit. It talks about her protective arrangements, and it encourages freedom fighters to target her. And then it ends with 5 words: Barron Trump, wait for us. Think about that. Barron Trump is an adult. He is involved in Trump's crypto stuff. He was involved in Trump's pre-election strategy of appearing on all of these bro podcasts.
Yeah, dude, 440 test is extremely low, too. That's not healthy. You want to be around 1,000 at least.
He's 20 years old. Now, he is not a military commander. He doesn't determine American foreign policy.
Yeah, test made my blood pressure higher. It put me into the safe range, like normal range. My blood pressure was ridiculously stupid low, and after I went on test, it went to normal. If you look at randomized trials, testosterone generally doesn't increase people's blood pressure. So it might do that transiently, because it raises estrogen, and it also activates the like angiotensin aldosterone pathway. So it'll temporarily lower diuretic hormone and make your kidneys hold on to sodium. But usually that's a transient effect, and your body will just adjust after a couple weeks, and then your blood pressure will go down back to normal. But just slowly titrate up, monitor your blood pressure, and then you're fine.
He did not order strikes on Iran, and he is just the son of Donald Trump.
How many milligrams of test should you take a week to get to 1,000 tests? Kind of depends. Everyone has a different response with how many milligrams they need to get to a certain test level. I would say your average person will probably get to around 1,000 or more, taking somewhere between 140 to 200 milligrams a week. That's the kind of normal average. I've noticed people who do daily injections, they tend to have higher levels, like higher serum concentrations compared to like once or twice a week injections. So I think injection frequency also plays a factor. Dodo Donatellers, do you have ADHD, VG? I might. I don't think you remembered a single thing from the video we watched so far. What video? This video? The assassination thing with the IRGC. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
As far as Iran is concerned, Melania Trump is being targeted because there's a psychologically devastating aspect to going after a president or a leader's spouse. This is a known thing meant to generate fear and terror. And that's really the point of this. The feeling that we could get your family, regardless of whether they have anything to do with the decisions you're making to attack us with Strait of Hormuz, with power plants or civilian infrastructure. Now, the Secret Service has said we're aware of it. We're investigating. Anything that is perceived as a threat against one of our protectees, we are going to be taking very seriously. But for security reasons, the Secret Service doesn't want to talk about the specifics of that investigation. Now, just like as a top-level gut check, is Iran likely to succeed in assassinating Melania or Barron Trump? I think the answer is no. Both are protected by the Secret Service.
Okay, well, you know, it's the IRGC being the IRGC.
Remain standing on the platform. It's no surprise that Jidion was served a 2-week suspension, but he wasn't about to take this lying down. Instead, he continued to provoke both Twitch and Pokimane. Upon learning of his suspension, he changed his Twitter profile picture to an unflattering
Yeah, my skin's darker. I've been taking melanotan too.
Image of Pokey without makeup on. He also live streamed himself.
I ran out, but I've got some more coming.
Giving a sarcastic apology in which he pleaded with his Nubian goddess for forgiveness.
Yeah, I take peptides, take growth hormone, TB500 occasionally if I have an injury. I was taking it for the last, like 2 months. I had some fucking problem or injury. I can't remember what it was, but I was on TB500 for something. I can't remember what it fucking was. And then I also hurt my shoulder, and then I stayed on it for another month.
I love you, Pokey! I love you! I love you!
Please, Pokey. I was supposed to play Fortnite with Ninja tomorrow.
Jidion also attempted to get his own personal movement going, compelling Twitch to lift their suspension with a viral Twitter hashtag, #TwitchFreeJidion. Unfortunately for him, there was also a massive wave of backlash against him, as many described his behavior as misogynistic and hateful. The pressure was building, and ultimately...
Yes, poor Pokimane, the dumb bitch who just lies constantly. He's just an obnoxious twat. Like, that's the fundamental problem. I don't like Pokimane, but I also don't like him because he's just an obnoxious twat.
Jidion had to accept his situation and concede defeat. On a serious note, I'm gonna take this L, because what I did really was TOS, but that comeback stream is gonna be something pressure. Love y'all boys, banger dropping Sunday. The following day, he posted a tweet claiming that he didn't want to rely on negativity.
Yeah, my body fat's lower right now compared to when I was natural. If I wanted to get this low of a body fat naturally, I'd be absolutely miserable and just be a complete cunt.
negativity to be successful. I don't like petty Jidion. See y'all on Twitch in 13 days. I don't need this attention to grow. Gonna speak to the Pogger community when I'm unbanned. Until then, we back to where we started. Unfortunately for Jidion, the damage had already been done, and he would never be able to stream his return because he was permanently banned from Twitch. He tried to appeal the decision, but was ultimately rejected, with Twitch stating, "We do not unsuspend accounts for this level of abuse." Having expended all of his options, Jidion has a notable change of heart following this decision. While he had conceded to deserving a ban, he never fully apologized or admitted that he was wrong for what he did. But now he was calling his actions corny and even offered a sincere apology to Pokimane. Throughout this whole situation, I did a lot of corny stuff, and I'm way funnier than the level I brought myself down to. Poki, I apologize. And boys, I'm dropping it, so I'm asking you guys to as well. The two eventually reconciled a year later, collaborating in a video where they ate fried chicken. Ultimately, a wholesome conclusion to the situation for both sides, particularly Jidion, who managed to come out of the situation redeemed. However, this situation would not be an isolated occurrence. In fact, it serves as the blueprint for the Jidion cycle, where he does something inflammatory, faces backlash.
Oh, I know Imaru. I don't know who Sin is. Imaru's just a liar. Like, the crazy dog pile on what's his name for the Imaru bullshit. Like, that was fucking crazy. Imaru fucking tried to lead this guy on and then accuse him of, like, fucking sexual assault or something. And, like, in her dumbass story where she's trying to make everyone think she was sexually assaulted, she said she tried to make it so he didn't leave. So she's trying to accuse this guy of sexual assault, but then she's upset he left right away when she showed that she didn't want to be touched. Like, it made no fucking sense. Like, that bitch is just a fucking crazy liar. Yeah, Miss Kiff. Like, everyone is such a dumb beta male simp. Like, really, of all the fucking women who are most likely to lie about this shit, of, like, an attention-seeking fucking Twitch streamer? Like, are you serious? Why the hell would you ever take these girls seriously? $4.92, why are you still against Fuentes when he speaks out against Jew hatred now? Because he's a liar. He's trying to be more mainstream and acceptable and says violent threats and blatant anti-Semitism is wrong. That's great. He's still an anti-Semite. He just wants to make money now. That's all there is to it. Thanks for... Oh, wait. That's exactly the person we need saying that. I guess you could say to some extent that might be good. Like, look, if things change and it becomes advantageous for him to go back to the crazy anti-Semitic shit, he's gonna do it. So I don't like Fuentes. That's never gonna change. He's just a liar. Thanks for the donation, though, for. Dodo $22, imagine being rich and then pigging out on Chick-fil-A or some fast food garbage. What the fuck? People like that need to be part of a eugenics program. I mean, maybe if it was vegan, it'd be okay, but it's not, and they eat like retarded children. Bro, fast food actually is fucking disgusting. Like, it actually doesn't taste good, and I just don't want to eat it. So when you're rich and you want to be a fat ass, I don't understand why you'd go to these garbage fucking fast food places. Like, you could hire a private chef and actually have good food. And it'd probably make you less fat. So, like, these people are just stupid. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Doubles down, then faces consequences, apologizes, and ultimately learns nothing from his mistake.
If I start taking tests, would I need to rely on it forever since my body stops producing it? Generally speaking, when people stop taking testosterone, their testosterone levels go back to normal, but why would you stop? Like it's weird when people say, oh, but I'd have to rely on it for the rest of my life. Yeah, just like how you have to rely on money for the rest of your life. You have to work your entire fucking life. Like especially now, the retirement age is going to ever fucking, increase. Like, the retirement age thing is totally bullshit. You can talk to people who are retired. Guess what? They don't have enough money for retirement and they still work. They have a fucking part-time job. So you're going to work your entire fucking life. Oh, why would I go to work and make money? I have to rely on that my entire life. Like, it's stupid. There's plenty of things you have to rely on your entire life, like society. You have to rely on society to function, to get food, water, gas for your car. Like, if you have any hobbies, guess what? Like, they probably rely on society to function. How do you think you get video games? So, like, there's plenty of essential and, like, maybe non-essential things that you rely on. And again, like, testosterone is dirt fucking cheap. It's a generic medication. It costs fucking nothing. If you're on TRT doses, what? Like, you're gonna be... It'll cost you, like, $20, $30 a month, if that. So... That's assuming you're just getting TRT and you're not going to a fucking stupid TRT clinic that's charging you for services. It's really stupid. Like, these TRT clinics, the way they make money is just through services. So they'll say, oh, well, we're going to give you a comprehensive health panel and we're going to check this and that and you're going to have regular blood tests. You don't. You just take testosterone. It's not a big fucking deal. If you're on TRT doses, we know testosterone reduces cholesterol. So if you can't be fucked to monitor your cholesterol right now, it wouldn't make a difference if you're on TRT because your blood lipids would improve, not worsen. Same thing with like HbA1c, your insulin sensitivity. Well, TRT improves insulin sensitivity. So again, if you can't be fucked to get regular blood work right now, well, you know it's going to be better on TRT. So it just doesn't do anything. It only makes you better. So yeah, assuming you just get prescribed the medication, it costs fucking nothing. And especially if you get it black market, like black market testosterone, it's even cheaper. So. I don't know why anybody worries about having to be on it long term. There's plenty of other things that you have to fucking rely on for the rest of your life. Whoopie fucking diddly do. You have to buy $20 or like spend $20 a month. Vial of test is like maybe what? Prices can vary. If you're talking about black market, can be as cheap as like maybe $30-$35 all the way up to like maybe $80 USD. And then pharmaceutical prices, it's kind of similar. Like that's going to be around 80, 150, kind of depends. But yeah, for the entire vial. But month to month, again, you're only spending like $20-$30. It costs nothing.
Thanks. What's more,
and again, if you're benefiting from it, why would you stop? It's like, but why would I brush my teeth? As soon as I stop brushing my teeth will get dirty and start rotting. Yeah, so keep brushing your teeth. It's a weird phobia I like to have. Dodo Donatellas, what's something both Elizabeth Warren and Trump agree on? Eliminating the debt ceiling because both of them want to spend, and Trump's case cut taxes like Hall so we have even less money to spend. Well, yeah. Trump is not fiscally irresponsible. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Do your balls shrink? I personally haven't noticed any testicular shrinkage. A lot of dudes also report having reduced ejaculate volume. I've actually experienced the opposite. So as far as I can tell, my balls are the same size. Like maybe they shrunk a bit, but it's not to an extent that I can tell. And I have bigger jizz loads than I've had before. And I'm not on HCG or anything, so I don't know. I think the average testicular atrophy that you'd get from TRT or taking steroids is around 15%. Give or take, like by 5%. So like the high end might be around 20, 25 maybe. And the low end might be like 5, 10, or like not at all. Kind of depends, but yeah, I don't think like 15% reduction in testicular volume is like really going to be noticeable.
To be fair, you don't have to work if you're handicapped. Also, if you don't want to work, Then you could easily just start your own business.
That is still work. And I know plenty of handicapped people who still technically work. They don't get enough money from benefits to really get by, so, you know, they sell weed or cigarettes or whatever. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. RQW donated $2. Let me see.
He just revealed that he has a extreme autoimmune.
Okay, I'm not watching this video. So this is retarded. If you just read Brian Johnson's post on X or watched the video he made about it, he probably had this autoimmune disease as late as his 20s, but he might have had it practically his entire life. Because he was diagnosed with a thyroid issue, which was related to this autoimmune disease in his 20s. This is long before he ever started biohacking. So all the people saying, oh, he gave himself the autoimmune disease because of his biohacking bullshit, it's complete nonsense. He explained this. He had it before, it was just undiagnosed. So, Coach Colton is a fucking manipulative, retarded liar, by the way. This guy has no interest in the truth and just makes content that he thinks will get the most amount of clicks. So, I wouldn't bother watching any of his content. Thanks for the donation, RQ.
I'd like to get on test but don't know how to access it. I have no connections and train alone in my garage. I live in Australia BTW.
You just order it online. You don't have to know a guy who knows a guy. You just order it online. I don't know of any gear sources specifically in Australia, but I know there are. There are just websites where you can just order online. When Masteron first came back out on the market after the Chinese factory shut down, I think some of the first Masteron that came out was actually from Australia. There's some lab in Australia making Masteron. But it just, all you have to do is look at some steroid forums that talk about sources in Australia. Look through the forums, see what people are recommending. And then ideally you'd get stuff from a UGL that has independent lab testing done, ideally from Janishik. That's usually a very good sign if they get lab testing done, especially through Janishik. But yeah, it's easy. Like again, people order cocaine and shit online now. It's like, that's just what has happened just due to the internet. Thanks for the donation, Hyperlad.
Is that he's consistently rewarded for the behavior in the form of views. Jidion continued to wreak havoc at every opportunity afforded to him for the foreseeable future. In March of 2022, he attended a Minnesota Timberwolves basketball game and got a haircut while sitting courtside. The gag was relatively ineffective.
And I know in Australia, if you wanted to go to like a doctor to get prescribed TRT, they're absolutely outrageously retarded there. I don't know why, but for whatever reason in Australia, doctors tend to prescribe testosterone undecanoate. It's like the dumbest form of testosterone. It's this extremely long-acting ester. The idea behind it is you only need to inject it once a month, and your levels are not stable. It takes forever for the drug to actually build up in your system. And you can't actually manage the dose properly because there's like a ceiling with just the way the drug's metabolized in your body with the ester, where no matter how much you take, it will cap out at a certain level. It's the dumbest form. So even if you can get it prescribed, they're probably going to prescribe you like a shit form of testosterone that's not ideal. So like, again, doctors are fucking idiots. They think they know more than you. They try to gatekeep all this bullshit for no fucking reason. And then, oh, look, there's the black market. And then they'll like shame you. Oh, why are you taking underground drugs? Well, it's because you're a fucking retard who can't help me. But yeah, that's the situation. Dodo donated $2. And
This is part 2 on Trump 2028. So in part 1, I talked about the legal theories underpinning Trump's continued jokes about a third presidential term. Now I'm going to talk about whether or not that's likely to happen, and if not, why he continues to make this joke. Many of you stated Trump doesn't care about the Constitution, and unfortunately, the Supreme Court, literally the guardians of the Constitution, also don't seem to care as much about the Constitution as we once believed. It's clear that Justice Alito and Justice Thomas will literally do anything that Trump wants, but
that's not true. They've ruled against some stuff that Trump wanted.
I still believe the other justices, based upon all of the opinions that they have published to date, will not
Like, they are corrupt, but they have ruled against stuff that Trump wanted.
amend the 22nd Amendment on their own. Justice Kavanaugh, who we recently saw, was willing to throw away the 14th Amendment and make it simply a statutory right, i.e. birthright citizenship. Even he has come out and said in dicta, in a concurrence, that the president can only be president twice.
The birthright citizenship thing made sense back in the 1800s. It doesn't exactly make sense anymore. Like, so many people use the anchor baby thing and are exploiting the system. So yeah, making some kind of amendment to that does make sense in this modern age.
So it does beg the question, why does Trump keep alluding to something that's pretty much a constitutional impossibility? I think part of it is because you never know until you try. We all thought that him getting rid of birthright citizenship was impossible, and then he almost did it. It's straight out of negotiation 101. When you want just the moon, you ask for the sun and the moon because you know you're never going to get both. So he may know that he's never going to get a third term, but what is he actually trying to get? The thing with President Trump is that all he cares about is money and power, power and money. And anytime someone dangles something in front of him, like an Al Dershowitz, that gets him...
Okay, whatever. Wait. Thanks for that donation, Dodo.
Offensive, and it was ultimately shared on both the team's and the NBA's official social media accounts. However, he would continue upping the ante with every successful stunt. A few months later, he tried a similar gag at the US Open quarterfinal, resulting in him being confronted by security and removed from the venue. Things became slightly more serious in 2023 when he disrupted a class at the University of Houston.
The whole thing about, ooh, underground drugs, oh, that's a bad idea too. It's literally the same thing, only fucking cheaper. It's all a fucking rack. So here's a great example of this. You might have noticed in the mainstream media, they've been running all these news stories about the dangers of peptides. Oh, don't buy from these peptide websites. They're like, the peptides are coming from China. They're dangerous. Ooh. So, a lot of these mainstream news organizations get a massive amount of their money from the pharmaceutical industry through advertising. Some of these organizations, like CNN, I think like half of their money actually comes from pharmaceutical ads. It's huge. So I don't have any proof of this, but I'm suspicious that a lot of this news coverage of peptides is actually being driven by pharmaceutical companies pressuring these media outlets to run these stories about these peptide websites being like potentially dangerous. So if you actually look into like any of the safety data behind peptides, they're perfectly safe. Like, what is everybody freaking out about? There has not been one single fucking reported death from any of these peptides being sold. Not one. Tylenol, I think that kills about 50,000 people per year in the United States. That's an over-the-counter FDA-approved drug. Alcohol kills 2.6 million people fucking worldwide. Cigarettes, I think it's even higher. It's something fucking crazy.
Do y'all remember Richard's Respect Wamanach? When he was a gay beta male bitch cuck slave workhorse. Same. I remember too. Now he's polar opposite because he thinks Patty's into it. He's basically pro-Sharia law without the Islam part.
That's nice. Thanks for interrupting me. Appreciate the donation. So there's not one single reported death with any of these peptides. And again, over-the-counter medications like Tylenol, 50,000 fucking deaths per year. It's also one of the number one causes for liver transplant, like liver transplants. So people destroy their fucking liver with Tylenol, and then they need a liver transplant. So there are really, really horrific, serious consequences to misusing, again, FDA-approved, over-the-counter fucking medication everyone has fucking access to. Everyone thinks, oh, it's safe. But there's not been one single reported death with any fucking peptide. What does that tell you with safety? So, like again, if you have any epistemic standards, if Tylenol is fine, if you think Tylenol should be able to be sold over the counter, but there's like 50,000 deaths per year, but and not to mention like liver transplants and shit, but peptides, not one single reported death. Okay, then I don't know how you could make a case that underground drugs are like not a okay and safe. On top of that, like I've heard them talk about, oh, there's side effects. People have reported pancreatitis, inflammation of the pancreas. That's a potential side effect from GLP-1 agonists. That happens with the actual medication that you can be prescribed by a doctor. So Ozempic, Wegovy, tirzepatide, retatrutide. It's not FDA approved yet, but it's going to be FDA approved. That is a potential side effect. So that will happen with the prescribed medication. That will happen with the underground, medication too. So there's absolutely no indication that these underground drugs are any more dangerous than these actual prescribed medications. Again, no reported deaths, not one single reported death. And the side effects that people are experiencing, they're exactly identical to the actual like pharmaceutical, legal quote unquote medication that's being sold like Ozempic. On top of that, with steroids specifically, they're made in the same place. All steroids are made in China. So when you go to a doctor, get prescribed TRT, the raw materials that are in the testosterone that you get from the pharmacy, it's exactly the same as the raw materials you're getting from the underground lab. The only difference with the pharmaceutical testosterone and the underground testosterone is they might use a different carrier oil. And again, if you're getting it from a really shitty, shady, stupid, dumbfuck dealer, they might not be making it in sterile conditions and they might add like solvents to it. But again, don't buy it from a shitty, stupid, dumbfuck, retard underground dealer. Get it from a good dealer. Again, like people think that, oh, it's underground, so it's more dangerous. Well, it's called a free market and the free market regulates itself. The bigger suppliers that want to keep the biggest customer base and keep customers coming back are going to make sure they follow basically what are FDA fucking standards. They don't want people getting infections. They don't want people getting sick. They're going to dose the fucking medication appropriately because they want a good reputation so they can make sales. They have market incentives to sell a good, safe product. So literally the raw materials are exactly identical. They're getting them from the same sources between the underground pharmaceutical suppliers, and they have every market incentive to sell a good product. So all these people who are like, underground drugs, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Houston and mocked a deaf student communicating with sign language. He was subsequently arrested and charged with criminal trespassing while he was streaming. Rather than taking the situation seriously, he asked the officer if he could take a picture with him for the thumbnail.
Well, if you put your phone in your pocket, man, I'm gonna have to put you in handcuffs.
Is it cool if I get a thumbnail?
A who?
A thumbnail? Before you put the handcuffs on?
Well, I'll let you do that once we get to the station, okay, bud?
Okay.
These are just some of the many controversies he found himself in, not limited to his removal from other sporting events for unnecessary disruptions.
I'm kind of done with Connor Shuck, the guy's a dishonest dumbass, so like I don't really have an interest in reacting to his retard content.
For the most part, there were little to no consequences for Jidion, and many positive benefits to be reaped from behaving this way. But the deeper he fell into his obsession with views and clicks, the worse he became at making sound decisions for his—
I'm not going to play the Halo remaster. That game was bad to begin with. It's not a good game, and there's a whole lot of problems with it. It has some fucked up DRM. Doesn't run that great. There's like glitches and shit on PC, so I'm just not going to bother. Richard's unsterile syringes donated $2. Dude, Richard, does long distance running like 3-4 miles actually kill testosterone gang? So there is research on this. Long distance runners do tend to have low testosterone, and it seems that there's some type of thing that happens with running that damages the testicles. That could be from excess heat. So runners are obviously running for very long distances for prolonged periods of time regularly. And if there's a lot of heat building up in your groin from like running, friction, sweating, and your balls are exposed to that heat for a long period of time, that could directly damage the testicles. There's also a theory that the bouncing motion, like your balls are going to jangle up and down, that also might have some kind of effect on directly causing damage to the testicles. We do know for a fact that things like that do damage sperm, but it probably does just in general damage your testes. Running 3-4 miles, like you mean per day or over a few days, I don't know if that would do it, but I know in long distance marathon runners there is some evidence that they disproportionately have low test levels. Thanks for the donation, though, Richards, on sterile syringes.
His own personal reputation, and for the safety of others. Everything I've documented thus far, while some of it is arguably shitty, none of it is that bad. And it could all probably be chalked up to Jidion being an immature dude who got famous in his early 20s. However, this behavior ultimately culminated in one of the biggest blunders in the history of content creation. There was a time when the name EDP445 was one of the most beloved on all of YouTube. Bryant Moreland would make comedic videos about his interests, from the Philadelphia Eagles to his explosive bathroom experiences after eating fast food.
I never was a huge cupcake eater, you know what I mean? I've always been a little bit too sweet for me.
As a result, fans were shocked when he was caught engaging in predatory behavior.
That aged
While smaller
well.
channels like Cold Raven had been talking about it as early as July of 2020, it wouldn't come to a head fully until April of 2021, when the now infamous predator poachers confronted EDP in person. During the sting itself, Alex Rosen, at the time going by the alias Chet Goldstein, confronts EDP about the messages he had been sending to his decoy. In the messages, Bryant is under the impression that the girl he is messaging is a minor, and despite that, he continued to message her inappropriately. There are a lot of funny details about this as well, like him sending her a photo of a log he had just dropped in the toilet. I really can't put into words how insane the messages are if you haven't seen them. This also inspired the viral cupcake meme, as EDP claimed instead of trying to meet up with this girl for anything bad, he just wanted a cupcake. Unfortunately, the sting did not result in an arrest because the police were not involved from the very beginning. Alex and his team simply met EDP, and once they were there, they contacted the police. So Bryant Moreland was never charged. Instead, his only punishment was through thousands of YouTubers exposing and making fun of him. Jidion was very aware of this, and 2 years later, he wanted to do some content of his own about EDP. So he invited him to his public Discord server for an interview, which he intended to live stream. We know he invited him to his public Discord server with 130,000 people in it because Jidion showed it on stream, wherein he also showed himself messaging EDP back and forth to get ready. Unfortunately for him, once EDP was in the server, he joined the voice call and then muted himself, demanding that Jidion send him $200 to do the interview.
He switched up and said that he has to get paid to do it now.
How much does he want?
He wants $200.
Bro, I'll pay the $200. That's the guy. That's my guy. That's the go.
Obviously, Jidion was not happy about this, given he had been teasing his audience eagerly with the prospect of doing an interview with EDP445. So he eventually ended the stream, and past this point went on to make other content. But Jidion did not remove EDP from the server, at least not right away. And this was a server with, as I mentioned before, over 100,000 people in it, and no age restriction, meaning many of them were underage. This was in June of 2023, and over the next few months, rumblings began coming out on Twitter and TikTok of some sting that was being conducted. Jidion himself—
Yeah, Mishamulix. I can't tell you on YouTube where to source gear. Yeah, you can order it online, that's obvious, but I can't tell you where to actually source it. But there are just good sources and some bad sources. You just gotta like figure it out or ask somebody who knows what a good source is.
Himself even said on his stream that they had caught someone big, but he refused to say who it was at the time. However, the victim, Kayla Hoskins, ended up leaking what happened to the public before Jidion's video could come out.
The only reason why this is public is I was gonna wait until like this was like in the court process and everything, but the victim went public with it. So
He went public with it?
No, the victim.
The victim.
Girl.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
she went public with it. So since she went public with it, you know, I just came out and was just, you know, kind of talking about it a little bit.
The information was released in a video from Kayla herself. She showed many of the strange messages EDP had sent her, basically ruining the novelty of Jidion's video, since now the most
EDP is like a disgusting, fucked up freak. He has this fetish where children dominate him. It's really fucked up.
juicy information was already out there, apart from the actual real-life confrontation, of course. In the lead-up to any of the sting dropping, Jidion was being very weird. On one hand, when people in his chat would ask when it was coming out, he would say only once Skeeter Gene, his longtime collaborator, dropped his version of the sting.
I don't know how many times I gotta say this, you know? But I'm gonna just assume that you guys weren't here for it, but I'm not dropping the EDP vid. It's not coming anytime soon. You're never gonna get it. Unless Skeet drops it.
For some reason, he wasn't eager to release this video. At the same time, when people mocked him for the initial interview being a failure, he would post on TikTok to own them, basically, saying that in the end, they got him in a sting.
Interview has to have been the biggest failure in all of...
So you guys know it's not CGI.
Well, the sting was eventually released, and it was disappointing to say the least. It opens with Skeeter Gene setting the stage, revealing that EDP had been caught messaging an actual minor, not a decoy this time. He also says they had a private investigator take photos of him, and then says that
Asshead, donators, would you rather use Wikipedia or ChatGPT to do your research? I would use both of them in essentially the same way. You can't just blanketly trust Wikipedia. You can't just blanketly trust ChatGPT. They're basically resources to give you a broad general overview of a given topic, and then when you want to get more specific, you look at specific claims ChatGPT or Wikipedia is making, you look at sources referenced, and then you go from there. So it's basically the same strategy that you'd use for both. ChatGPT in some ways is a little more efficient because you can ask it questions and stuff like that, but they both have essentially the same drawback. Thanks for the donation, Assad.
that this sting will be different. They weren't able to get him wanting to meet up with a minor, so instead, their plan is to confront him at a doctor's appointment.
And then you got, I don't know what the this even is, but he did send that to the girl. I guess he put some eyeliner on and some lipstick and sent it to her. This is not a filter, by the way.
While EDP is a creep, and I feel no pity for him, right off the bat, this is clearly not on par with other stings. The first 12 minutes of the video show them getting advice on how to handle it, and they then find him at his doctor's appointment. He instantly ignores them and walks inside. A few minutes later, he comes back out and tells them to leave, and then goes back inside the building. The police are eventually called, not because they have some evidence to get EDP arrested, but instead because Bryant called them, saying he was being
Taking test. I'm taking it to work more overtime at my warehouse job. How long to feel the effects? What do you mean taking it to your warehouse job? Just take whatever dose you want when you wake up. I don't know what you mean by that. Most people will start feeling a difference about a week or two in. I felt a difference immediately after about 30 minutes after I injected, but everybody's different.
Harassed.
Yeah, he called. So
he snitched on Bryant called.
Right. So he's just trying to be civil. He doesn't want to cause a big scene, right?
Oh, we're not going to cause a scene. We just want to ask him a few questions about this.
No, I
chat
understand.
log.
Right? I understand.
Bryant eventually leaves the building, drives away, and that's the end of the story. But the video itself isn't even close to the biggest issue. There's a reason why I specifically noted earlier that Jidion's Discord server had tens of thousands of people in it, and that minors were present. Kayla Hoskins is the victim being referenced in the sting operation, and she's not a decoy. Like Skeeter said, this one is for real. But how did she meet EDP445? Well, she was a huge fan of Jidion, and she was in his Discord server. EDP, after being invited by Jidion to his public server full of children, noticed her profile, found her Instagram connected to it, and messaged her. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Jeez.
Jidion will tell you himself.
But the stream that we were supposed to do with EDP, when I was going to do that interview with him, that was the catalyst for all of this to start. When EDP joined my Discord, when he was about to do the interview with us, he didn't join, but he found a girl in my Discord, right? And in her Discord, she has her Instagram. So EDP, being the Rizzler that he is, he slides into her DMs and he initiates contact with her.
To be clear, Jidion, on a live stream that hundreds of thousands of people have watched, publicly admitted that he knowingly invited one of the most infamous creeps in YouTube history to his own Discord server full of children, wherein someone was then victimized. He goes on to say this makes him both...
Yeah, probably not a good idea. I don't know why you wouldn't just, send him a Zoom link.
...happy and sad at the same time.
I'm sad to report. No, actually, I'm happy / sad to report, but he slid in an actual girl's DMs. Like, no joke. The girl is legit 50 years old, and he slid in her DMs. I'm not gonna lie. I low-key put EDP on, chat. I'm sorry. I two-mans with EDP. If it wasn't for me trying to do the interview with him, he would have never found her Discord, and he would have never found her IG, so...
I honestly could not have put it better myself. Jidion invited this known creep to his Discord server full of minors. One of them was then taken advantage of, and Jidion made a video about it. I don't know what this is called, but to be honest, describing it that way sounds bad enough. In the best possible interpretation, this is the most irresponsible thing you could possibly do. Clearly prioritizing clout and content over protecting people from a dangerous individual. He continues joking about it, and while I'm definitely not one to cry about people poking fun at a serious subject, to me, these wisecracks speak to the fact that Jidion does not grasp the gravity of what he...
In Sahil Bukhari there are mentions of Aisha playing with dolls in Muhammad's presence. Even in the context of that time period, Aisha was clearly a child that Muhammad boned.
Well, yeah. You'd have a hard time finding any Muslims who would argue that Aisha was an adult. So, yeah. Thanks for the donation, Risharaj.
He's admitting to here.
I'm not gonna lie. When I found out that he found her from my stream, this was like... Bro, made me hit the Ichigo screen.
And other information leads me to believe this whole thing may have actually...
After your gains and our zero id usage, can you still run a mile under 8 minutes, and can you still run more than just 1 mile?
I haven't done any running since high school because I had all the knee surgeries. I cycle, I inline skate, but I don't do any running. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Actually been malicious. The following information was documented by a YouTuber named Plubius, who deserves credit for all of this stuff. And as far as I know, all the stuff he's gathered has mostly gone under the radar until now. In the same stream, Jidion says the way he found out about EDP messaging Kayla was from one of his Discord moderators, a guy called Inside. Inside sent a message to Jidion that he had contacted Kayla. From there, Jidion gets on a call with her, and apparently he was able to contact Kayla's mom about it as well. He then says he hit up Skeeter Jean, his longtime collaborator, to prepare for the sting.
Skeet sets up all the EDP catches that we do. He does all the work, he initiates all the contact, he does all the work. All I do is just show up and record. I could have took this for myself and been like, you know what? I don't want anybody else to be a part of this. I want this to be me, myself, and I. But I literally was talking to myself. I was like, I can't do that. Skeet's been too good to me. Skeet's been too much of a real friend to me. If we're gonna do the biggest catch in EDP history, we gotta do it with the GOAT himself. So I hit up Skeet and we pulled up on him.
What a great guy. Anyway, according to Inside, the Discord moderator who contacted EDP about the sting, he actually gave Kayla some advice on how to go about communicating with EDP.
So happy that this worked out, bro.
Wait, here, Inside.
So happy this worked out.
So everybody doesn't think, you know, I paid this girl. Can you tell them what happened?
Okay, so basically, Kayla messages me whenever he starts DMing her, and she's like, yo, EDP is DMing me. And so we got on a call, and I was like, first off, make sure you know, tell your parents, tell the police, all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, yo, I have a fire idea for a video. What if you just lead him on for a little bit so that, and then I'll tell Jidion all about this, and maybe Jidion can get an IRL interview with EDP because he ghosted us on the online one.
Hey child, hey
kid, what if you like messaged the and the pedophile groomed you?
That'll be a fire video, dude, the sting.
I have a fire idea for a video.
Just lead him on a little bit, man. What if you just lead him on for a little bit?
Jidion just stares into space while this is said out loud, once again, not really grasping the seriousness of what's being said. I almost can't put it into words how irresponsible this is. When stings are conducted on creeps, it's always viable to use a decoy, a person who is an adult posing as a child. This is because adults are less likely to be traumatized or manipulated by the creep in question. And by using a decoy, you prevent a kid from being harmed. But Inside admits it here. He encouraged Kayla to lead on EDP and keep talking to him, which, in other words, means he told this victim to continue messaging the most infamous creep in YouTube history because it would be good content.
I have a fire idea for a video.
What if you just lead him on for a little bit, and then I'll tell Jidion all about this?
Maybe this isn't true and Inside is lying to make himself look worse, but Jidion just sits there as he says this and doesn't disagree at all. So to me, that says everything. Not only that, but Kayla claims that Jidion and Inside and whoever else was involved advised her against going to the police because they wanted their content to be better.
They weren't allowing me to go to the police station 2 months prior because it would have ruined their content.
Now, I have no evidence that this specific claim is true, and as a result, I'm not going to take this one and run with it. With that being said, EDP is not known to be bashful, to say the least. He's a nasty, freaky guy, and as Jidion himself acknowledges, EDP was sending Kayla explicit content.
He sent DPs to a 15-year-old girl.
Not just that, he was making threats of violence towards her. This was revealed in her video talking about what EDP had said to her over text.
If shit goes wrong in any way, shape, or form, give your soul to the Lord.
He literally set a voice memo saying, like, if this is a setup, I'm gonna air you and everybody else out. And so we were on high precaution whenever we conducted the investigation in person.
I know it's all a little bit funny because this is EDP 445, but at the same time, this is a creep who has already lost everything and has shown off his massive gun collection before. He almost has nothing to lose. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he would have figured out where this girl lived, hunted her down, and done something.
I'm surprised he's not arrested. I'm also surprised any girls would talk to this guy. I mean, look at him. I don't mean to victim blame, but, like, honestly, what the fuck are you doing talking to a guy who looks like this? You know what I mean? Like, the fuck? It's kind of like dating a single mom and then being surprised that she's asking you for money. Like, yeah, what did you think was going to happen?
Something horrible. And yet, according to Jidion's top guy, he encouraged her to keep messaging an actual creep. They encouraged her to keep messaging him while receiving explicit photos. Why?
I have a fire idea for a video.
It was for content. During the situation, Jidion stated he didn't want the sting's existence to be public knowledge before charges were pressed against Bryant. But once it was out there, he maintained that he had done it the right way, and that EDP would be facing criminal charges.
Eating at me, like, so hard.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is actually getting justice as opposed to, like, the content of it. So hopefully this leads to...
I dropped it too, but I'm most likely probably going to be going to court with her, because...
Oh, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, so, like, I'm kind of, like, involved with the case now. Like, the authorities, like, they have my number and everything. They haven't contacted me yet, but, yeah.
Well, here's a shocker. EDP was never arrested. He was never charged. In my opinion, Jidion should be the one in court for inviting this creep to his Discord server full of minors, allowing one to be victimized, and then trying his best to make content out of it. Ultimately, he didn't get what he wanted. Instead, Bryant Moreland did. Instead of talking to a decoy, Jidion gave him the chance to talk to a real teenage girl, and then botched the investigation so hilariously bad that he
Gold injector and utilitarians go to crash out 1850.
Hey,
yeah, this is gonna be stupid. I am best fighter in the world. No one else knows how to fight because I fight natural.
won a kindergarten game. I can't. I'm so happy. Shut the fuck up, fucking. Fuck these. God damn it. Now we will listen to what an Aikido.
Yeah, so Sverige is jealous of everybody. His life sucks. He's literally a diagnosed retard. That's why he was given free money by the German government when he was living in Germany. He's literally a diagnosed retard. He probably also suffers from schizophrenia or some form of psychosis. He's one of the most mentally fucked people like you could possibly come across. He is without a doubt a psychopath and a narcissist. And he is jealous of everybody. All he can really do is get, like, the bottom of the barrel fucking women that nobody wants to date. Like, these women that he dates, they're not necessarily ugly. Some of them are hideous, but they're not necessarily ugly, but they're fucked mentally beyond belief. The girl he's with right now, she's a single mom. Like, well, she was a single mom before Sverige met him. But yeah, this guy ended up fucking dating a single mom who has a bunch of fucking plastic surgeries. She doesn't even look that great right now, but she probably didn't look any better before the plastic surgeries. And her daughter is schizophrenic. Like, so he's dating a single mom who has a schizophrenic fucking daughter, and this guy relies on fucking crypto donations from people. He's an internationally wanted criminal, and he has to hide out in Airbnbs. Like, this guy has no life. Just one of the biggest losers you could possibly fucking imagine, and he's just jealous of everybody. And yeah, he makes videos on people who are wealthier, better looking, more successful, have like more successful than him, have friends, family, hobbies, aren't dating single moms, who are achieving things in their career, and then, what a loser. This guy ate an apple apples are not natural because they are hybrid fruits. I could kill and eat this person if I wanted. Like, that's literally his life. Thanks for the donation, Gold Injector.
Somehow got away with it again. Good work. There are some other inconsistencies worth addressing as well. For example, Jidion initially stated that EDP sought out Kayla in the first place.
He slid in an actual DMs.
She showed me the chat logs and he messaged her first, so.
But according to this comment that Inside left, Kayla apparently sent messages to EDP first. Several of her friends contacted us afterward and told us that Kayla had shown screenshots that showed her hitting up EDP first. She basically begged us to let her be a decoy for a video for clout. This obviously stands in stark contrast to what he said on Jidion's stream. And it makes me think he probably just lied here to cover his tracks, because in his mind, if Kayla messaged EDP first, then ultimately he was just taking what was presented to him instead of encouraging her to maintain contact. Either way, he and Jidion still look pretty bad. All of this was being covered by—
No, Sfarage doesn't have any actual hobbies. I know he listens to heavy metal music, but that I don't know if he can really consider listening to music a hobby, but other than that, apparently he just watches porn all day. Goes outside, steals. He's known for stealing things and being a thief, but like he doesn't actually have any hobbies other than listening to music and watching porn, I guess, if you consider that a hobby.
By Plubius back when it happened, and he himself even managed to talk to Kayla about it, who also released a video wherein she reiterates many of the same points. Unfortunately, it never got any mainstream attention, mostly because Jidion was still considered to be in the good graces of the YouTube community. But make no mistake, Jidion has no business doing predator catching content. He had no business doing it in 2023, and he has no business doing it now with thumbnails like this. What is this? But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Everything I just mentioned happened when Jidion was still at the peak of his popularity, and given he faced little to no backlash, he just continued making content as per usual for a few weeks. Jidion announced the EDP staying on stream on September 3rd, and by the 22nd, he had posted "Turning My Life to Christ." In it, he says he's become far too focused on clout and popularity, and that his pranks no longer align with his mission, making the world a better, more positive place. He cites one specific incident in which one of his videos cost people their jobs as the reason why things need to change.
And I got the prank done, got millions of views off of it, so many people giving me props, but what a lot of you guys don't know is 3 people lost their jobs because of me. Because I lied and was saying that I worked there, I got 3 security officers fired that had been working there for years, all because I wanted to play a practical joke, all because I wanted to entertain you guys, and that's evil.
He went on to remove all of the most popular pranks from his channel and says he would be focusing exclusively on a new channel called Jidion, where he would spread the gospel to his fans. At the time, his audience was surprised, but ultimately commended him on his decision. Given Jidion was a massive YouTuber before he quit, he certainly had enough money that he could live a more low-key life and invest his time into his spirituality, but it didn't last long.
It's been a minute, you know, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. There's no reason to talk about why I've been gone. You guys all know and stuff, but I know the real question is, why are you back, Jid, after all this time? I'm not gonna lie, Uncle Sam came around and your boy needs to start making that funny money. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta start making that funny money.
While he jokes that he's coming back for money, he then says that he missed his fans, which is probably the real motivation in a sense. Considering how big his channel was, he easily made millions of dollars, so the real motivation was definitely boredom, or maybe even withdrawals from being without clout for so long. With him officially returning in full swing, pranks ultimately remained a part of his past, as his content took a specific focus on 2 things: streaming and predator catches. As I've already established, Jidion is extremely irresponsible with these catches, prioritizing clout over justice, and ultimately, those posted after his return would be no different. As early as March of 2025, people had been calling out Jidion for his habit of doxing and encouraging harassment towards law enforcement when he doesn't get the results he wants. Here on his community tab, he posts the face of a man that swore to protect his community, before attaching a photo of the district attorney presiding over one of his stings. He also posted a photo of a plaque reading Prosecutor of the Year and what appears to be photos from a Facebook group where locals are saying that this DA supports predators. I'm all for calling out elected officials when necessary, but this isn't exactly the president or a senator. This is a member of the justice system who Jidion is encouraging harassment towards for not convicting someone in a sting he conducted. I'm sure this guy's plate is full of cases, but for some reason, Jidion believes his YouTuber status means anything he investigates should be shoved to the front of the line. On July 4th of 2026, a small YouTuber named Himpleton released a video titled "Jidion Has Always Been Like This," where he details issues with the stings conducted since the EDP investigation. Himpleton brings up one major concern across many of Jidion's catches, including him not speaking to law enforcement until during or after the real-life confrontations.
It was during a fake online meetup orchestrated by YouTube creator Jidion and his team posing as a minor. Police say the fake meetup was news to them.
They showed up unannounced and sprung this on us. That's one of the concerns that we've had in the past when we've assisted with other groups.
He also points out that over the course of 50 stings Skeeter Gene conducted, he only managed to get 3 arrests in total. This is Jidion's closest confidant who worked with him during the EDP sting, keep in mind.
He says he's done approximately 50 of these stings.
He showed up to our sting house to meet who he thought was a 12-year-old girl.
but acknowledges only these 3 have resulted in arrests.
But easily the most interesting part of the video is the documentation of Jidion repeatedly doxing law enforcement. During one arrest, once Jidion was on the scene, he called the cops. Once they showed up, they were confused as to what to do due to some jurisdictional issues where they weren't sure if they could take action against this alleged creep because the messages initially may have been sent in another city. And additionally, Jidion hadn't contacted the police before the sting, only during it. The cops called the district attorney to figure out what to do.
If we were to follow up with anything with this gentleman, it's gonna get thrown out. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do right now.
Okay.
Just to cover all our bases, I'm gonna call the on-call district attorney. Okay. And fill him in on all this because we had no clue that you was operating in our city, which kind of is like.
So, because there's a jurisdiction problem.
Before, when you hopped on the call with the DA, you didn't have anything about the chat log. I don't even know what you told the DA. The only thing you could have told them is what you told me. Hey, we got an illegal operation here going on. This is probably entrapment. You didn't have any of the information to inform the DA so that they can make a better decision on how to handle it.
Exactly. I told him exactly what you told me.
Jidion, in retaliation, publicizes the name and face of one officer in the video.
Okay, this guy is literally an entitled degenerate, like, fucking man-child. Like, the entitlement is just insane.
Includes his face.
Like, as soon as somebody doesn't do something he wants them to do, he just lashes out and tries to harm them.
In the thumbnail and accuses him of protecting a predator.
So that's why I am so upset with the performance of Sergeant Blake Howard. And if you also are upset with his performance, I have his boss's information right here. His boss's name is Lieutenant Matthew Schochler. And also, here is the Missouri City Police Department's phone number. You can call this phone number and let them know that you want to talk to Internal Affairs. Also, to hit up the head district attorney.
This guy's
his name
an
is
asshole.
Brian Middleton. Here's his email address right here. And also, here is the district attorney's office. Let them know about Sergeant Blake Howard's performance and how you disapprove of that. And also let them know that you want us to work with them.
I just have to honestly ask who Jidion even thinks he is. This guy has publicly admitted to inviting a pedophile to his Discord server, wherein a minor was then groomed, which he then used to make content and profit financially. This same guy has the gall to put pictures of police officers' faces on YouTube and call for their supervisor to be contacted. I'm sure the tens of thousands of children typing *67 and then calling the Missouri City.
How much protein do you get at minimum, like on sedentary days? I basically eat the same. I just right now it's 200 milligram. 200 grams per day. Because I'm dieting. Once I'm done dieting, it's probably going to get to like in the neighborhood of 250, 300.
Police department were very respectful about all this and had a full grasp of the situation. Because Jidion didn't get the specific result he wanted, he believes the best step is to encourage the cops to ignore procedure. He wants the courts to ignore due process. And if they don't, then he'll dox the police to millions of people.
Yeah.
I don't want to straight up rip more of Hippleton's video than I already have, so I'll link it in the description for you to check out. But he details how Jidion continued to dox a business owner as well for doing nothing wrong.
Jidion basically doxes the owner of the business, despite him agreeing they had nothing to do with the crime that occurred online.
The crazy thing about it is the overseer and the director of the Volleyball Academy Club. And he was already caught up to speed on what was all going on. But he wasn't too happy that the parents were about to come outside and see this whole fiasco. So as a director and protector of children, he had to clean up the mess before the parents came out.
I need you to remove yourself from the...
This guy is such a fucking asshole.
In the wake of the more recent controversy around Jidion, a post was made to Pay Money Wubby's subreddit, where the user describes how a city official was harassed as a result of his videos. I work high up in a city government where Jidion came through and pulled one of his famous stings and got into it with our police department. While he was not arrested or anything, sadly, he did pick a fight with a supervisor at the police department and subsequently doxed him to his audience. While I am by no means a fan of the police, having seen the insane amount of threats sent to everyone connected to this person, including family, kids, coworkers, etc., I do have empathy. This person had to up and move his family due to stalkers, bomb threats, and crazy Jidion fans finding the kids at school. While this specific claim has not been directly verified, we know for sure that Jidion fans have sought out the social media profiles of law enforcement to pester them, based purely on Jidion's expert understanding of US legal code and nothing else. Since early 2023, Jidion has concentrated his sting content under the name EDP Watch, a name that's kind of ironic considering what I know now, but whatever. It even has its own paywalled website, where Jidion advertises that you can pay him a monthly subscription to hear what these creeps want to do to their victims.
Do you want to watch EDP Watch episodes early and completely uncensored? Do you want to listen in on these disturbing one-on-one calls we have with these monsters?
Do you usually like rub your or do you?
On May 12th of 2026, Jidion released his latest catch, which was done in collaboration with Alex Rosen. As discussed earlier, Alex orchestrated the first sting on EDP 445, which was ultimately botched. However, since then, he's developed a strong reputation as a legit catcher, with him claiming to have arrests in all 50 states and convictions in 41. Jidion worked with Alex to catch Hullo, a looks-maxing TikToker. They paid a direct visit to his apartment, where he proceeded to explicitly confess to his crimes while giving detailed context as to how he downloaded illegal material to his phone. About a week before Jidion's video went up, the local police took Hullo in and charged him with 15 counts of possession. This was a successful catch by all means, and one that got Jidion a lot of praise, but his collaborator ultimately got him into hot water. Alex Rosen is almost equal parts creep catcher and equal parts far-right activist. This is not and has never been a secret. I could list a ton of stuff he's done in lieu of his politics.
So when you hear, ma'am,
I have a question.
So Pfizer has the biggest criminal fine in history. So how is it anti-science to not trust them?
Jidion had to have known this and was willing to work with him despite it, because in his view, his work superseded his controversial stances. He knew about it vaguely as far back as 2022, in fact.
Like, that's why they're good at their job, even though I think the dude that called him was like found out to be racist or something.
Yeah, racist as a motherfucker.
But like, you know.
What was the point of Jidion's Christian arc? Grifting. That's all it was, grifting. Everything he does is just in service of himself. How often do you get blood tests to check hematocrit and all that? Kind of depends. Like, if I'm gonna fuck around with new compounds, you know, I'll get it done more often, like every couple months or something. But I was on the same dose of the same shit for like more than half a year, and after I think 4 blood tests, my hematocrit was exactly the same. So my hematocrit hasn't gone above 48. Like, it's not something that's that important unless you're symptomatic.
And they deleted his channel too.
Yeah, I'd rather, you know, I'm glad YouTube got to him too, but like, you know, I'd rather be out the streets than
Well, if you're aware of Chud the Builder, then it's not a surprise that Alex supported him. Chud, real name Dalton, became infamous for streaming while calling black people the N-word to their face.
This guy's a fucking retard.
Eventually, he ended up shooting someone. Some argue it was self-defense, some, including the state, argue it was attempted murder. It's currently tied up in the courts. Alex Rosen argues that he was innocent, so much so that he donated $10,000 to Chud's...
Wow. Bro, this guy's unhinged.
Legal defense fund. I encourage everyone to donate what they can if you care about free speech, he wrote. Given how controversial Chud the Builder is for the most obvious reasons, and the fact that Jidion has a lot of viewers who hate him, he started facing backlash for working with Alex. This mounted in Jidion posting a video announcing that this would be the end of their work together.
But then he did something even...
Oh yeah, dude, grifting is what brings these dudes the cash. That's why they're millionaires.
Step beyond. He went and donated $10,000 to Chud the Builder's bond so that he can be back free on the street. And I just cannot tolerate that, and I do not respect that, and I have to make a stand.
But as many people pointed out, this response is extremely disingenuous. Alex Rosen is not just some casual right-wing dude. He's been openly far-right for his entire career. Jidion frames it like he was naive in choosing to hang out with Alex because he thought he would change.
Now, also, I want to take accountability. Now, a lot of people are calling me out saying, Jidion, you knew he was like this before you even met him, and you still decided to associate yourself with him. And I have to admit, I did. You know, I am the person to where I naively believe that people can be better.
But what reason would he have to believe that?
You can't say fucking live stream. It's bad, dude. They're gonna get offended and report us. Oh, you're right. What is wrong with you?
I'm not saying he can't be friends with Alex Rosen or do work with him. I don't care. One time I met Alex Rosen in real life and ate barbecue with him. He covered me in olive oil, rolled me around in breadcrumbs, and tickled my tummy. True story. The reason Jidion kept working with Alex is because he did all the hard work for his catches, and at the time it was convenient to have him around. Back when he did catches with Skeeter Gene, Skeet was the one doing all the work.
Skeet sets up all the EDP catches that we do. He does all the work, he initiates all the contact, he does all the work. All I do is just show up and record.
And once he saw how effective Alex was at getting convictions, he relied on him for the majority of the work.
So I looked and scoured the internet and I started watching Alex's videos. And I came to find out that he is the best out of all of us, and that still stands true today.
Naturally, Jidion's dishonesty garnered a lot of hatred, with comment after comment calling him out for tolerating Alex's politically incorrect, to say the least, behavior when it was convenient for him to do so. Given everything we've seen so far, it should be no surprise how his most recent sting operation turned out. Skeeter Gene decided to bring some personal baggage of his to the predator catching world. Back in late 2025, Skeet began what eventually became a series of videos exclusively focused on his uncle Joe, who he accused of financially exploiting as well as physically harming multiple elderly family members.
Because this has been going on for some time. No, right? I don't owe you an explanation for I mean, are you just gonna act like an immature baby the whole time? Like every time we try to talk to you? I also don't have to talk to you. Well, I understand you.
These videos got millions and millions of views for Skeet, and Jidion, being the God-fearing man he is, knew he needed to be involved. In the lead up to his arrest, Jidion had been doing a series of streams on Kick, wherein he would stream inside the house Joe was squatting at until he left. In one particular broadcast from the 22nd of June 2026, Jidion and Skeet can be seen talking to a group of fans who claim that Joe had thrown a rock at their car that cracked its windshield, and that they caught it on video.
Whoa, wait, hold up. He broke this windshield, right? Bro, Joe threw a rock and broke this windshield.
Despite this being the case, Jidion thought it was appropriate to convene a public manhunt to go after Joe, without a care in the world for the fact that whenever groups of his fans turned up, many of them were teenagers. Immediately following a moment where he briefly meets a couple of these teenage fans, he's told that Joe is hanging out at the local McDonald's.
Yo, someone just said that he's at McDonald's.
Of course he is. I could have told you that.
Can you go swing by?
Then he proceeds to use this information in the wisest way possible. He tells 3 of what looks like teenagers on bikes to do recon and see if Joe is really there.
Yo, check the McDonald's and let me know. Yeah, check McDonald's. Is he in there? You don't see him? Wait, cop car coming.
If they don't even know what Joe looks like, they definitely don't know that he's a dangerous person. But Jidion doesn't think twice before sending them his way. As they approach the McDonald's, the cops were already waiting for Jidion to tell him he's not welcome.
Is he here?
Doesn't matter where he's at. McDonald's does not want you on the property. You guys have to leave.
Who's you guys? Can you be more specific?
You.
So they said these people?
Him, yes. You guys cannot be on the property.
Hey, do you guys want some McDonald's? Y'all want to go inside real quick? Yeah.
The cop tries to explain to Jidion that him being prevented from entering the McDonald's has nothing to do with protecting Joe, but of course it falls on deaf ears, as Jidion employs the tried and true strategy of accusing the cop of protecting a criminal.
Okay.
You're gonna be trespassing if you go in there.
Bro, you don't have any, no offense, officer, but like, you genuinely have nothing better to do. Like,
do you have anything better to do?
Officer, you're actually like supposed to protect and serve.
All right, get off the property. You guys will be arrested for trespassing.
Okay, we'll leave the property, but like, I'm just trying to figure out, do you have anything better to do? Because this is like a...
Yeah, they told you earlier that they don't want you guys on the property, so you guys gotta leave.
Because you've been camping out there for like 20 minutes, wasting taxpayer dollars.
I'm there for about 5. You guys need to leave.
What? It's crazy how you don't arrest a squatter. That's crazy.
Jidion truly believes that whenever he's going after a bad person, he can simply do no wrong, and is thereby allowed to inconvenience or hurt anybody who stands in his path. If this situation hadn't ended in Jidion's arrest, he probably would have doxed this police officer and begged his chance to call his supervisor. Instead of leaving, Jidion continues to tell everyone who's driving into the McDonald's parking lot about Joe.
You try to get some McDonald's? Yeah. Let's see if there's some McJoes in there.
Is there a shade of black you're trying to get to? Not really. Like, I'm just gonna keep getting darker until I think I'm too dark or something. You know. Like, maybe if I look weird, you know. But if I look cool and good, you know, being darker, I'll just keep getting darker.
Yeah, go inside and see if Joe's in there.
And despite being told by the cop that him and his crew weren't welcome, he thinks he's cleverly found a loophole by strapping someone else with a camera vest and sending them into the McDonald's.
Should we give him the camera? He's just sitting in there? Be very careful. Just wear this.
Which way?
Just on your back.
The cop warns that what Jidion's doing is still not allowed, but instead of acquiescing, he starts jumping and screaming like a kid having a tantrum.
Where's the backpack? You didn't trespass him, so shut the up!
The person wearing the vest is sent into the McDonald's and then instantly called back before he makes it inside because the cops pull up right next to Jidion and his crew and start cuffing them.
Officer, what are you doing?
At this point, Jidion's camera no longer captures anything good. Fortunately, a YouTube channel called Code Blue retrieved the body cam. Jidion proceeds to do almost everything you're not supposed to do during an arrest, besides reaching for the officer's gun. As the cops begin to wrangle him, he does his best to make himself look as bad as possible.
This is a violation of rights. This is a violation. You cannot arrest somebody that never went inside and was never trespassed. Ma'am, they are arrested children that never went inside of a McDonald's. Call the DA and see how fast that gets dropped, you dumbasses.
What's funny to me is how quickly he starts pulling out the "they're children" card when the cops are arresting them. But he clearly didn't mind that they were kids when he was telling them to disobey law enforcement and enter a McDonald's to record an insane, violent squatter. As reality sets in, Jidion tries to tell the cops the charges won't stick because he's a multi-millionaire.
Do you guys really think this is gonna stick? Do you want to waste your DA's time? I am a multi-millionaire. I promise you, I can take this as far as you want. Officer, you will
I'm
be
a millionaire. I can do whatever I want.
When this fails, he resorts to his final, most devious and ingenious master plan, saying he is so Rubenesque, so portly, in such a calorie surplus that the officer is hurting him by putting him in the squad car.
I can't even fit in here.
Get your foot in.
Officer, I can't even fit in here.
Get your foot in.
How are you going to arrest somebody that never even went on the property?
You're under arrest for being disorderly, not for being on the property. Put your foot
Officer, I can't fit. Have you guys consulted with the DA?
We don't have a DA.
I don't think Saul Goodman could even come up with this defense.
Officer, I'm simply too
fat to be put under arrest.
You're just gonna have to let me go.
After disobeying police orders and telling others to do the same, being hostile to the cops, bragging about being a multimillionaire, and attempting to delay his ride down to the station because he couldn't scoot,
I can't scoot. I've had bigger people in the officer. You're actually hurting me.
Jidion proceeds to ignore his Miranda rights because he literally doesn't stop speaking for 1 second as the cops take him to processing. The yapping about how he's going to sue the department for violating his constitutional rights doesn't do much, as Jidion ended up with misdemeanor charges of stalking and breach of peace and was facing 93 days in jail. Meanwhile, the kick stream went on for a while after Jidion was taken in, and when Skeeter Jean showed up, it seems like even he realized that Jidion had gone a little bit too far.
Jidion was doing way too much though.
Yeah.
I should have told him not to even pursue it when we found out he was at the police station, because I kind of knew. I had a feeling it wasn't going to go well. I had a feeling.
This incident didn't seem to have much of an effect on Jidion's morale, as he came back the next day with another stream. The first portion of this comeback is the court proceeding which resulted in Jidion and the 3 others being released on bail. But about half an hour into it, it turns into a typical stream, and it's clear that he hasn't reflected at all since his arrest, as he was now organizing a protest against the police department.
Oh my god.
Additionally, he's still trying to be clever and continue his pursuit of Joe without being punished for it.
Someone like go and give him the rest of the cake, like the eviction cake.
Here.
Here, dude,
Please do not do that.
I'm not gonna do it.
Like nobody do that. I mean, I can't control what you guys do, but nobody do that. Or I'm not telling any of y'all to do it.
Okay, you're not.
I actually want you guys not to do it.
Okay, I'm not.
Can you please not?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. Good.
Ultimately, Jidion is right when he says that the charges he and the 3 others got were relatively minor. Instead, it was his reputation that was taking a hit. Before the Code Blue video that highlighted all of his worst moments, his own chat was already cooking him for the "I'm a multi-millionaire" thing.
Oh, my multi-millionaire, by the way. Yo, come on, y'all. Can we please chill with that, man?
It seems like now that he's actually having to feel just a tiny bit of backlash for his absolute recklessness, he's already changed his tune and doesn't want to be a menace anymore.
Seeing all these drama channels making their videos, like, yeah, you know, I feel like my rights got violated or whatever, but like, bro, you know, I think it's like a weird situation, and I thought it was like a fun moment for us. But then it's like, I feel like all these other people are taking it, and like, Jidion went too far, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and people are taking it into this whole...
When the Code Blue video did come out, it got even worse, as it was promptly reacted to and covered by Critical and plenty of other commentary channels, where they lambasted him for being a whiny Karen and endangering his fans by sending them after Skeeter Jean's lunatic uncle.
I am a multi-millionaire. I promise you. I can take this as far as you want. Officer, you will be in a deposition and you will be arrested. This is...
Oh, that's minus 1,000 aura.
A day after Code Blue posted their body cam footage, Jidion reacted to it and said that he was broke.
I did not know that paying for 4 people's legal fees would result into something like this, but this is actually my bank account. Like, no lie, right hand on the Bible, this is my bank account.
But this did very little to stop the backlash, with any video about Jidion having its comment section peppered with "I'm a millionaire" memes. With enough public pressure, it's time we reach the final phase of the Jidion cycle, the apology. While saying the word genuinely 24 times over a 16-minute period, just in case you thought he was being dishonest at any point.
Yo, what's good, y'all, man? So, this is genuinely gonna be genuinely losing the plot. Genuinely, I'm just genuinely.
You can tell when people have this kind of weird alliteration, like they're dumb.
Like, this was a very humbling experience that I really needed, and I genuinely so.
He chalks up all of his bad behavior to live streaming, saying that the chat approval enables his worst personality traits, while the entire comment section posted memes about "I'm a millionaire, genuinely." His return to creep catching content has been pretty successful in terms of sheer numbers, but I'd argue it's only a matter of time before he does something stupid again. Jidion ultimately hasn't changed much since he was a prankster. He began his career as a nuisance to others, with reckless disregard for how his actions affected them, so long as he got the views he wanted. Ultimately, that's the same mentality he took to his sting operations. He knowingly invited an infamous creep to his Discord server full of children, and when the most expected thing possible happened, he just tried to make content out of it.
I'm not gonna lie, I low-key put EDP on, chat. I'm sorry. I two-mans with EDP.
During his real-life stings, he dogs his police officers when he doesn't get his way, acting as if he's some authority. He sends his young fans to mess with a dangerous squatter, all to be live-streamed so he can farm donations and clip it later. And when facing the consequences of his own actions, what does he default to?
I am a multi-millionaire. I promise you. I can take this as far as you want.
This guy should not be doing sting operations, and to be honest, I'm surprised the EDP sting didn't end up with Jidion in civil court. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time.
Genuinely.
Well, yeah, fuck, Jidion. What a dumbass. Pete Hegseth's military testosterone plan.
I have a feeling that whoever is managing Pete Hegseth's testosterone program is not giving him androgel. Like, he doesn't look like a guy that has a T level of 450. But that's what's going to happen to our troops. You know, if the guys are genuinely hypogonadal, the most probably cost-efficient thing for the DoD to do is stick to the endocrine guidelines and then use most likely topical, low-potency, branded, you know, androgel, etc., patches, the 1 or 2%. So not the best, right?
All right, welcome back to the Healthspan Podcast, everyone, where we talk all things health, hormones, and staying hard to kill. Today, Dr. Andrew Winge is back with us to discuss the Secretary of Defense. I'm curious to see, and part of what you're thinking here, too, is, you know, the current guidelines in general, even for the general public, are not great. So you go the traditional route, you see your primary care doctor, you see your endocrinologist, you see your urologist, you're getting these... You know, they're going by these crappy guidelines. They don't know a lot about it. They're not super interested in it. And you get these, you know, your low total testosterone is still fine. You're okay. No one checks a free testosterone. No one checks a sex hormone binding globulin. No one looks at your, your pituitary feedback hormones, your luteinizing hormone, your follicle stimulating hormone. Are we talking about primary or secondary? Something that can be maybe corrected with lifestyle. No considerations for that. And the encounters I've had with guys who go through the VA and try to get this checked.
So bad.
I just had a conversation with a guy very recently. He's like,
there's practically no point going to a doctor. Asking ChatGPT about the shit, you're probably going to get better advice.
It was like they're giving me the stink eye just even asking for the test. Like I'm asking for, or something. And then So then they reluctantly do the test. The test comes back. My total testosterone is 302. As close to
you're good.
As close
You're
as
good.
close as
Yeah.
you can get. He's like, no, you're all good. And he said, not only that, the doctor told him he's plenty fine. He told this particular guy.
Yeah, I love that. When you go to the doctor and you say, like, you have all these symptoms, oh, I'm fucked up, like, my arm keeps falling off, I'm shitting out of my eyeballs, there's blood coming out of my ears. Well, according to the test, you're within the normal range, so I'm not going to give you medication for that. Like, they're just fucking idiots. Doctors are so fucking stupid. Like, rather than actually listening to the patient and their problems, they'll just look at, like, some blood test and be like, oh, it's in the normal range. Well, if you're symptomatic, then it's not in the normal range for you. A lot of people have this, like, with their thyroid, too. They'll have thyroid symptoms, and then they'll get a test, and they're within the normal range, but they're clearly having thyroid symptoms, so they need to be given thyroid medication, and then they just won't give it to them because, oh, it's normal range. I don't care how you feel or what problems you have. The paper says it's okay. Like, doctors are dumb as shit, dude. Base donated $2. Let me see. It's illegal to feed wildlife because they get dependent on handouts and forget how to survive. Sound familiar? That does, in fact, happen with a lot of welfare systems. So, yeah. That's kind of funny that he's posting like this kind of right-wing anti-welfare content. South Africa, you listening? That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know he posted content like that. But that is actually a genuine problem with a lot of welfare systems. The welfare benefits are high enough where, like, yeah, these people versus working a minimum wage job versus getting welfare, they may as well just work welfare, and then they don't bother fucking working, even though they have every ability to work. And especially since a lot of these people also just sell weed or something on the side. So a lot of people do that. They just scam the welfare system. I'm pretty sure like nearly half of welfare handouts are actually fraud.
I said his doc told him anything over 150, you're okay.
Yeah,
so he was just
Thanks for that
became
donation, though,
confused.
Base.
He's like, well, what do we do with this information? Is this guy blowing smoke?
Yeah, there are
Does he not know what he's
endocrinologists that
doing, or what's
use
the
that
problem?
150. I've heard, like, it's one of the researchers
keep
I think
moving the
that
bar.
was responsible for the T trials said he uses 150.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Maybe that's where he got that from.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, I've had multiple buddies of mine, former active duty guys, Army and Air Force, that have gone to the VA and not had great experiences. One in particular was, one of my old jiu-jitsu buddies. He was in his mid-30s, former Army infantry guy, been multiple deployments, and was very symptomatic. But like he was a fit, like relatively muscular guy, had a big beard. So he went in there, and he talked about, he said, I want to be tested. I've got all these symptoms, and his internal medicine physician, she actually just flat out refused to order the test for him. She just
Isn't Farsi the main Pakistani language? Aren't towelheads the fucking Sikhs, which are like in India, and they mostly speak Hindu? I think you're mixing up your racial pejoratives there.
This was like no. It wasn't even a conversation. It was just like, no. She looked at him. She said, you can still grow a beard. No, let's just not check this. So he was like, okay. So he went down the street to some free tea clinic that, not a free tea clinic, it was a tea clinic that offered free total testosterone testing, and it came back at like 120, 150. Like he was like profoundly low, like well below the guidelines. And so, he went back, saw somebody else, and they're like, oh, well, let's retest you, and
Yes, do the test, you're low, you're symptomatic. Let's test you again for no reason.
blah, blah, blah. And then, long story short, he ended up just paying out of pocket to go to a private clinic, which is probably what he should have done all along. But that story's not unique. Like, I hear stories like that all the time. And I don't...
Oh, dude, even when you go to a private clinic, same fucking shit happens. Healthcare is just a fucking joke, dude. Here's the fundamental problem with the healthcare system. If you get into a car accident and you have a broken leg or whatever, you'll get treated like, hospitals, doctors are good for that sort of shit. If you have any kind of problem that relates to your just general well-being, like you feel like crap, your libido sucks, you're unmotivated, depressed, your joints ache, like you name it, just general shitty overall well-being, doctors will do fucking nothing for you. Like literal nothing. Unless you say you're depressed, then they'll hand out antidepressants like fucking Skittles for some reason. But yeah, like they will not fucking do anything for like hormonal issues. A lot of people with thyroid problems, like unless they have a huge fucking goiter, they won't do anything for that. They just do fucking nothing.
I don't mean to bash the VA too much. I've been a VA patient, and they took good care of me when it came to all my orthopedic issues. But there's some things, just like in the regular civilian world, and definitely just like in the military, that they have big blind spots, and testosterone is definitely one of them. So what we're seeing in the VA is basically the same thing that I saw and continue to hear about in the active duty world, which is basically primary care physicians being like totally out of their depth and not really being, first of all, not really interested in testosterone, suffering from all of the usual stereotypes and misconceptions regarding testosterone, and not really knowing how to even approach the question, or not even knowing like when they should screen for it. And then basically like just referring to endocrinology or sometimes urology because they're just like, this is a hot potato. I don't know what to do with it. Just like, and I can't be bothered to look it up and learn about it. So they would just refer them to
speak
endocrinology.
Punjabi.
So that's kind of the state.
I meant Hindi.
I got out in 2013, but I can imagine that things haven't changed that much. But the current state of, let's just say, like primary care within the armed forces.
Oh, maybe I was thinking of Urdu. I think it's Urdu that they speak in Pakistan.
What it was when I left, which at least when it comes to testosterone is just like not a priority, and you got a whole group of physicians, just like in the civilian world, that are not trained. They don't understand its importance. They don't understand the pros, the cons. So there's the one of the things that's going to happen to make this program work is a massive educational campaign for physicians, because there's not enough endocrinologists to run this program.
Endocrinologists are fucking retards. Dude, Greg Doucette, he tried to get testosterone just through a doctor. I don't know why he fucking bothered. It might have something to do with his... I know he does like to travel, so it may just be convenience for having access to testosterone while he's traveling. But he wanted to get a prescription for testosterone. He went and saw an endocrinologist. He told him the whole deal. He's been taking steroids for so long. He wants to come off, but his testosterone's super low. He's feeling like shit, yada, yada. You know what the endocrinologist does? Measures the size of his testicles. Why? Like for whatever reason, the endocrinologist had to fucking fondle his nuts and get out a fucking measuring tape and measure the size of his nuts. Then the guy also checked his testosterone, and his testosterone was low, of course, very low. I think Greg might have said it was like 80 or something ridiculous. And then the endocrinologist said, okay, I'll prescribe you testosterone, but I won't let you go above a 400 nanogram per deciliter serum testosterone level, or else I'm not going to prescribe you the medication anymore. And he gave absolutely no fucking reason for that. Greg had to go to 3 different fucking doctors until he could find a doctor that would prescribe him a reasonable dose of TRT. Just fucking retarded. So yeah, good luck going to an endocrinologist. They're gonna want to sexually assault you, then make you do another fucking test to test your test levels, and then they're going to basically do this, play this power game where I control your fucking life. I get to decide like how you feel, what you do, what medications to take, and if you do anything that I tell you not to do, well then that's it. So like again, is it any fucking surprise that there's a black market when the only way to get prescribed TRT is to get fucking sexually harassed and assaulted, have some fucking asshole fondle and measure your fucking nuts and humiliate you, and then like talk to you like a fucking child? Fuck these doctors.
Like, not even close. So if we're going to be screening everybody, first of all, we probably, in my opinion, shouldn't be screening guys who are just asymptomatic. You know, there should be a questionnaire, you know, whether it's an Adams thing or, yeah. Well, you know, the way that I look at those guidelines is like, you can stick to those guidelines, but you just be aware as a doctor, there's going to be a huge number of men that need help that you will not provide help to if you stay.
I asked my doctor to check my tests, and the guy literally accused me of trying to get info so I could take steroids. Docs are weird in Canada, at least. That's everywhere. Like, buddy, I have friends who live in the States. They have the same fucking story. He had to go to, like, I don't know how many fucking doctors. All throughout his life, doctors would mention that he had low testosterone, but they wouldn't tell him the number. They wouldn't let him look at his blood test results, and they just say, it's fine, don't worry about it. That's in the States. So, like, it's everywhere. They're just fucking assholes. They're stupid assholes who think they're actually fucking smart because they had to go into like $200,000-$400,000 worth of debt to go through fucking medical school. Oh, I'm a fucking genius. I can remember things and then write them down again. And I paid like 200 or 300 grand so that I could remember things and write things down again. Like, they're fucking assholes.
Stick to those guidelines. So you'll be able to help the guys that are, you know, under 300 or, you know, whatever. But then there's a lot of guys above that number who need help that you won't be helping, and you'll be turning them away. So that's what's going to happen here is, you know, it's going to be very strict. They're going to have inclusion and exclusion criteria. And they'll probably use the Endocrine Society guidelines, which again is better than nothing, but it's still, I mean, it's not what it certainly wouldn't be optimal. You know, I have a feeling that whoever is managing Pete Hegseth's testosterone program is not giving him androgel. You know, right. He doesn't look like a guy that has a T level of 450, right? So, right. You know what, you know, but that's what's going to happen to our troops. You know, if the guys are genuinely hypogonadal, the most probably cost efficient thing for the DoD to do is stick to the endocrine guidelines and then use most likely topical, you know, low potency, branded, you know, androgel, et cetera, patches, you know, whatever, the 1 or 2%. So not the best. I think that could be the glimmer.
That could be the glimmer of hope there too, is what I was thinking. Because I was like, you know, it's still not clear who they're going to consult on this, what the plan's going to be. Yeah. And, you know, like we talked about before, if you have
no, they really don't teach anything about testosterone in medical school. Even endocrinologists don't know fucking shit about it. That's why when you go to the doctors and you ask them for testosterone, they'll like give you all these side effects that don't actually exist.
You know, a primary care doctor, urologist, endocrinologist who actually has an interest in this personally,
yeah,
you're more likely to find good care with that guy. Whereas, you know, if they're following the guidelines. Yeah. So in this case, if the boss is super interested in it and he's passing it along, I mean, there could be a little something to it. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah, for sure. So some of the things that wasn't said that people kind of jumped to the conclusion of is like, he's trying to create super soldiers. He wants to have everyone all hopped up on testosterone. He's looking to do this kind of thing. I even saw someone comment on, one of the forums where we spend time. What does everyone think about Hickseth trying to make all these guys testosterone, 1200 plus, and if they're not, he's going to get them there. It's like that's
so they're just making stuff up. Obviously,
it's just making made up crap.
I had a broken leg, and they said I can't get a day off work. I said, show me the x-ray. See, there is a crack in the fibula. Doc was like, oh, I didn't see that. Took 2 months off work. Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you graduate medical school with a C, you're still a doctor. Kid Boo donated $2. Let me see. What all women need to know about men, they don't like you. Well, they don't like you, probably because you're a bitch.
Like you. They like fucking you. Men don't want to be in relationships. They want to fuck.
It's funny how she says that when, there's literally communities of women online that are dedicated to just extracting money from men. There's the female equivalent of, the red pill, basically, where they coach women on how to emotionally manipulate men to give up as much money as possible. This is being researched too. A huge proportion of women agree to go out on dates to get free food, and they have no romantic interest in the guy.
Do women benefit from taking very low doses of test?
Yeah, they do. So women can have low testosterone as well, and it can affect women in the same way. So it can cause depression, low motivation, your ability to recover from exercise injury and make physical adaptations is lower. Can also cause low libido. These women who basically become asexual later in life, where they have absolutely no interest in sex, that's often caused by low testosterone. So it's pretty common for women to get prescribed testosterone if they have an extremely low libido and it's fucking up their relationships. They go to the doctor and say, I literally have no interest in sex and it's hurting my relationship, and doctors will prescribe tests just for that reason. I'm pretty sure normal, so it's kind of stupid. It depends on what kind of doctor you go to, but generally they prescribe topical testosterone cream for women, which is kind of fucking dumb. It's very inconsistent with the kind of dosage that you get. It absorbs at different rates for different reasons, so depending on the time of day, whether or not you showered beforehand, where you're applying it, the type of skin you have, how thick it is, yada yada. It's going to affect absorption, and it can also rub off too. And on top of that, it can cause hair growth on the area that you apply it to. So if you're applying it on the side of your leg, you might end up getting unusual patches of hair growing there. But if you're using injectable testosterone, I think typically for women, it's going to be anywhere from 5 to about 25 milligrams a week. I think my mom said she's on 25 milligrams testosterone per week right now, and she's liking that. Thanks for the donation, Jessica.
Men don't like being married. They like to fuck. Don't believe me.
Then why would they get married and not just pay for fucking whores? As if that would be any more expensive.
Believe what men say. I'm a 31-year-old male.
What is this? This chick is just fucking crazy.
If I want company, I hang out with guys. If I want to talk, I talk to guys. If I want to play games, I play with guys.
Well, there's a very good reason for this. Women don't share male hobbies very frequently, and even when they do, their actual level of interest is much lower, and their ability is much lower. So if you have a girl who rides a motorcycle, She's not riding like a fucking Panigale or an H2 or anything serious. It's probably going to be some like fucking 250cc thing that she might take out like once every couple weeks. And then if you want to ride with her, she's going to ride super fucking slow, overly cautiously. So like that's the problem you run into. Same with video games. Like if you want to play like Call of Duty with a chick, yeah, team deathmatch. She makes your team lose. She goes 1-18. Like that's just what happens. So even when a lot of women do kind of share the same hobbies, they're so bad at it, it's not even like fun. So like this doesn't mean they hate women. It's just if they want to have fun, they're not going to like, fun outside of like sex or a relationship or something. They're probably just going to do it with guy friends because they actually share the same hobbies and to the same degree they do.
If I want to ride my motorcycle, I ride with other guys. If I need help with something physical, I ask a guy because
Well, that's just obvious.
they are stronger. So the
Yeah, how about you lift a fridge, lady?
only reasons to be with a woman is because I like to look at her beauty, cuddle, and have some kind of schmegs. I can't handle a woman for longer than 2 weeks without alone time because they always drive me nuts, making
Yeah, that's what they do.
everything complicated and demand things I wouldn't even do for myself.
Yeah, like the reality is a lot of fucking women are like crazy and neurotic, and yeah, they get on your nerves and you need some time apart. It's just the way it is.
They also have that horrible trait of trying to fill me up with guilt when things don't go their way one time. So sooner or later
Oh, a lot of women do that like crazy. Like there'll be some misunderstanding or something, or like, I don't know, they're having a bad day. And like maybe you're not understanding the way they feel and something comes off the wrong way. They'll like hold a grudge indefinitely, and like if they have another bad day, they'll just reference that previous bad day and hang it over your head.
I break up with them because I can't handle another day with them and don't like you. They like
This lady's kind of crazy. So yeah. Thanks for the donation, dude.
And there's not. He wasn't talking about mandatory treatment either, right?
No,
so
no.
There's that. I thought it was interesting. You were saying, hey, why screen guys who are asymptomatic? I mean, that's a whole interesting topic in its own. But even testosterone as a health marker.
Dude, that post wasn't even that bad. Like he wasn't saying, "Oh, all women are good for is sex. Like I just use them to fuck." Like he was literally just saying, when when I'm doing things that I genuinely enjoy and I'm, experiencing my hobbies, I just prefer doing them with men. And like I've had so many relationship problems with women, I just like to have occasional breaks and keep my distance a little bit because like the women that I've dealt with, I just can't handle constant nonsense. And then all men want from you is sex. Like that's what she gets from the fucking post.
Is an interesting thing.
So yeah, exactly.
A lot of these guys are. I mean, you're talking about sleep deprivation, chronic stress, PTSD, TB, traumatic brain injuries. Whatever it might be. All this stuff. There, it's unique stressors on these guys. That would be something.
That's a great point. Yeah, you have a captive audience, right? So maybe some of that can be data mined, and we can get some additional data from it. Now, your point is like just totally well taken. Like it is a health marker. I'm approaching it from sort of a epidemiological and financial approach, which is how they're going to approach this. Like, does it make sense financially to screen guys who are asymptomatic? I like I like that he said if you're under the age of 30, you have the option of being tested. And I can guarantee like most guys will be like, heck yeah, let's get me tested. So, but you're right. Yeah. Total testosterone is, it's one of the, markers. And, I talked about this on other podcasts, but there's a case to be
super valid. Don't see anything wrong with keeping certain things separate. Had an ex get mad and start shit because I was too competitive. Women live in different worlds. Like, again, if you're playing a fucking game of Scrabble or something, dudes want to fucking win. Women just want to have like a good time and socialize. It's just a different mindset. And then they don't fucking get it. So yeah, like it's fine to kind of just do certain things with dudes, do certain things with women when it just makes sense socially.
Be made for getting a baseline level when you're healthy and in your prime, and having that data point for later in life. I know there's a counter argument to that, obviously, but it's be nice to know, hey, what was that when I was kicking indoors as a green.
You ever gotten olecranon bursitis after a workout? I don't know what that is. I don't know why it highlights inflammation of the bursa, fluid-filled sac. No, I've never had that. Yeah, I've never had that before.
Beret at 22, and I felt great. What were my levels then?
Sure. Yeah, no, it's an interesting point. We just had this chat with Dr. Max Draper. We were talking about treating asymptomatic low testosterone.
Yeah.
And it was interesting kind of back and forth. And one of the points we agreed on was it really depends upon the the personality and the kind of the temperament of the person who's getting the test done. What are you going to do with that information? Can you take it just as a data point and move on? If I test your testosterone and it's 3, you feel awesome. And now I tell you your testosterone is 350. Do you not feel awesome anymore? Are you going to be upset? Is it going to be
right?
Or, the other thing we were talking about too was, are you really asymptomatic? Because a lot of, I'm thinking about military guys, they're trained to work through things, and that's part of it, right? You're resilient, you're stoic, you're getting stuff done. Maybe they're slipping a little and not feeling great, and they're just gutting it out. They're just doing it. And now they get this level test and they're like, man, no, I am fatigued. I am feeling like garbage. Could there really be something, physiological going on here? I thought I was just, getting older, and here we go. The job's catching up with me.
Yep.
So I think it's interesting in that way too, to have kind of a baseline screening, because sometimes you don't know till you know. Like checking hemoglobin A1C or checking your blood pressures, like where you are.
Creeps up. It's boiling the frog, and so you don't know. The other case though that I'm not sure if you guys mentioned this or not in the podcast, but there are levels where testosterone is profoundly low. You get guys like sub 120, sub 100. There's a case to be made to treat those guys regardless of whether they have symptoms or not, because there's definitely health implications like osteoporosis, osteopenia, bone loss, potential cardiac complications, things like that. Even if they're like, no, I feel fine, there's potentially some bad stuff that can happen. And oftentimes when you're that low, like if you're in double digits, to me, that's a red flag that you've got pathology somewhere. Like this isn't just you're too fat, you're too stressed, you don't sleep well, you need to go to the gym. It's like, no, like you've got a pituitary adenoma, you've got cancer, you've got some other serious autoimmune problem, whatever. So that's always been like those guys need a workup in my opinion. And you could make a case in some cases for treating those guys. So there's just like with all this stuff, like there's nuance to this. It's, again, people like to oversimplify stuff per our prior conversation. And this is not just like all things in medicine, like it's not a black and white issue. There's nuance. And that's why you need expertise. You need experts, people who.
And I think, the flip side of that too is a lot of, the public hears that kind of thing too. And they're picturing guys just all hopped up on, modafinil and super high testosterone. Maybe they're taking trenbolone and they're just, they're popping something right before they go into.
I've warmed up to Tren. Tren's great. I don't have any of the fucking side effects from it, like the rage, aggression, anger, anxiety, sleep issues. It's actually made me calmer and sleep better, which is really fucking weird. But I've really liked Tren.
The battle, and they're just out of their mind, high testosterone, crazy people going after it. And that's not the kind of person you want out there either, right? You want the cool, calm, collected guy who's at the top of his game,
No.
Right. It's the same with, law enforcement officers. People worry about, I've had some people tell me, hey, I don't think I want a cop who has high testosterone. I think you do.
You do.
That's the guy
you totally
want to
do.
show
You
up.
do.
Yeah.
You want the cool, calm, collected guy who knows how to handle a situation, who who knows violence if he needs to use it, but he also knows how to, de-escalate because he's in a good headspace, and that's what you want. And that's not a low testosterone guy. That's a high testosterone guy.
No, well, the people that were, the people that say what the stuff that you just mentioned, I mean, there's obviously they're declaring themselves as ignorant, and they're just parroting some of the misconceptions of the general public.
Honestly, I think that whole testosterone makes you aggressive and violent thing, I think it's some like feminist man-hating bullshit. Like that's got to be where it came from, because there's absolutely no research anywhere in any shape or form that links testosterone to violence and aggression. I think that is literally some commie brain-rotted feminist horseshit where this myth was spread by women. Oh, testosterone is evil. It's like the evil hormone. That's what makes men violent and hit and beat women and commit crime. It does the opposite. It makes you more level-headed, stoic. You have better emotional regulation.
Public has had for 50, 60 years about testosterone and steroids and all this sort of stuff. And so I hope that the people that are involved in this program on the political side are not people like that. But, there's going to be some of them that they need to be, they need to be educated, because you and I know that stuff is nonsense. And
yeah, and you're too, like, bringing meds with you too. What would a policy be about having needles when you're traveling? And are you
right?
I don't know what living conditions are like for a lot of these guys too. Is it sanitary enough? Do you have a couple times a week where you can actually fit in a shot? I don't know. It sounds like with that schedule, variable. Might be a little maybe sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah.
But not that a few missed treatments these are long acting medications, would probably be fine. It really wouldn't be a big deal. Maybe with the androgel, they can just have androgel tubs, and the guys, as part of their day, they just go sitting there for 15 minutes, and everyone's getting an adequate dose now, so they can get, because you need a lot of that stuff to make a.
What they'll probably do. This is just something that came into my head. Is these guys that a lot of military deployments, like our deployments in the Air Force, were 6 months, so it's kind of. That's a number that's fairly common. Is they, will probably put these guys on something like Nebido. They'll give them their big load dose before they ship out, and then maybe once while they're over there, they'll be assigned to come.
What do you recommend when beginning to up testosterone levels? Which supplements? Like, what do you mean? If you go on testosterone, the only thing I'd recommend is just taking a daily zinc supplement, at least 25 milligrams. So 25 to 50 milligrams daily zinc is a good idea. Zinc's really important for just making sure your androgen receptors function properly. Even moderate zinc deficiencies can actually make your testosterone levels really low. So if you're not taking like TRT or anything, you should just be taking a zinc supplement anyway. But if you want your steroids to work as best as possible, you do want to make sure that you're not zinc deficient.
Come into the clinic,
What would be considered low test? I fell off. Like, I've had low test for as long as I can remember. It's really hard to say. There's no actual research on this. The reality is, if you look at any large prospective cohorts, men with the highest testosterone have the best health outcomes. So the people who are at the top percentile of testosterone, so dudes that are around 1200, they have the lowest rates of heart disease, diabetes, certain forms of cancer like prostate cancer. They're just in better health in general. They have less abdominal adiposity. They also tend to have better mood and all that shit, lower instances of depression. So the higher the better, basically. It's not necessarily are you low or not. It's just generally speaking, the higher you can go, the better. like anecdotally, what you'll generally see is most men seem to do best when their test is around 2,000 or higher. So between 2,000 and 2,500, most men generally report feeling the best. And again, that's supported by research, especially when it comes to mental health. The mood enhancing benefits, they become greater with higher doses of test. So, and again, high doses of test appear to be extremely safe. Beneficial effects on cholesterol, beneficial effects on insulin sensitivity. On average, you actually don't see blood pressure increases, even with very high doses of test, around 500 or 600 milligrams per week. So it really doesn't do anything bad, and you only get good. So the higher the better, and again, the lower you are, the worse. So I would say, you know, if you're in like the 500s or lower, you're gonna certainly benefit from testosterone replacement. If you're closer to that like 1200 mark, which is the upper range for most people, then you may not benefit as much from testosterone replacement, but you still probably would benefit if you double your levels. So it's not a low or not kind of thing. It's just more is better kind of thing.
Come into the medical aid tent, and the corpsman will give them their second libido shot, and then off they go, and then they'll be, you know, probably just running out and getting low by the time it's ready.
Why don't doctors recommend zinc supplements then? Because they have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Where they're ready for them to come back, and then they'll, you know, start back on whatever they were taking.
Imagine growing up with a feminist mother. I would blow my brains out. I feel bad for men who had a mom who tried to brainwash them into feminism and being told about toxic masculinity their whole life.
It's pretty gay. I gotta agree with you there. It's pretty gay. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy. Yeah, if I had a feminist mom, that would definitely not have gone well. I can tell you that much. Yeah, my mom was pretty based, like socially, politically, but yeah, if I had a feminist SJW mom, that would have driven me nuts.
So I could see there's probably some different ways that they're going to approach this. With deployments are always a challenge, because you're right. Like this often is not a very sanitary environment. You know, if you're in the Navy and you're on a ship, it's fine. If you're on some of these big established bases in the Middle East that we have, some of the accommodations are pretty decent, you know, but you know, if you're in an undeveloped FOB, you know, or some, you know, temporary base, it's pretty dirty, you know, pretty dirty.
You know, I've said a couple of times on some videos, and half kidding, half not. You know, people ask. I think that's good advice for sure, for sure. Yeah. So hopefully some of these guys, see this. So as we were talking here too, you know, we were talking.
I just went off all my steroids when I went to Australia. I don't have a prescription, so I couldn't. Well, I probably could have gotten away with just taking it. Security didn't seem to really care about anything. But it was only 2 weeks. I didn't feel any different after 2 weeks. It's not a big deal. If you're gonna travel for longer, then just get a TRT prescription.
About hemoglobin and hematocrit. It's always a big thing too. Like, oh, what's a number? Where do you phlebotomize? Where's the line? Because even guys, you know, like we talk about, we don't do it routinely. We don't recommend it. It's just going to bounce back.
Yeah.
You know, if you do it frequent, it's not a sustainable plan. Your iron's going to fall in the background. Yeah. Just not a great plan. You know, to you, is there a hard number where you actually do feel worried? I mean, this is a.
I get asked this a lot.
It's a tough question, but what do you think?
So there is not a hard number for me. You know, my policy with phlebotomy is this: if your hematocrit is elevated to the point where you're symptomatic and it's not a hydration issue, I don't have a problem with you. Like, by all means, like go donate, get that hematocrit down so you feel better. But then now we need to change. It's like something needs to change. We need to figure out what's going on. We need to make sure you haven't developed sleep apnea. There's not some other reason why your hematocrit is going up. And then we need to adjust your protocol so that this doesn't happen anymore. And so that's how I approach hematocrit. But
what do you mean? Did you do the weekly dose thing before going? I don't know what you're talking about.
You and I both know the research out there when it comes to secondary erythrocytosis, and whether it's from testosterone, from altitude, whether it's from people with unoperated like congenital cyanotic heart disease, many of whom walk around with hematocrits above 60%, don't seem to have increased risks of thrombosis and all the complications that we worry about. So yeah, I don't freak out when it goes above 54%. The problem is that number now just is in the guidelines, and so it's sort of, even though it's not meant to be, it's been interpreted as that's the standard of care. So the sad reality is, like, at least in the United States, if you and I, let's say, if we have a patient who is unfortunately has a stroke, it's a hypertensive, overweight, diabetic guy with sleep apnea who also happens to be on testosterone, has a stroke. And, when he gets admitted to the stroke center, his hematocrit is 54.5%. We're going to get blamed for that stroke. It's not the hypertension. It's not the diabetes. It's not the obesity and the sleep apnea.
Testosterone bad. Testosterone do everything bad. You can smoke and be fat and drink. If you're on testosterone, that's what fucking killed you. That's literally the fucking mindset everybody has.
It's going to be, that's what they're going to.
It's necessary to take magnesium if you take a multivitamin. Only if you're like magnesium deficient and the multivitamin doesn't have enough magnesium for you.
Dial in on it. So you're held to that legal standard, and there's liability if there's a complication, unfortunately, even though, you and I both know, and most people that are in this field who actually study this stuff know that, it's probably not the cause of this guy's stroke. It's the other things. It's the other things. So it's a tricky situation because we're held now to this standard many times, and we're open to liability if something happens and that hematocrit is 54, above 54%, which again it's a completely arbitrary number. It's everybody, you can fact check this if you want to. It's an arbitrary number that the Endocrine Society and the AUA experts.
Yeah, see, doctors are so smart. They just make arbitrary rules and guidelines that aren't based on any scientific evidence just because they feel like it. Brilliant, right? But then they'll call you an idiot for doing your own research and then taking what drugs you want that you think are ideal for you and in doses that you think are ideal for you. But these doctors just get to arbitrarily set rules and guidelines with no scientific backing. But you're stupid. What are you, fucking dumbass? You're not a doctor. Yeah, that's how they think.
Decided on. It's not an evidence-based number. It's just we have to pick a number. Let's pick this number. So I guess roundabout way of answering your question.
No, that was pretty on point there. I like that. I like it. It's usually, you mentioned those heart failure patients, with the cyanotic heart failure.
Yeah.
I keep going back in, and I'm seeing.
I had it was a couple years ago. I got norovirus, and so I got I was losing fluids from both ends, and I got pretty dehydrated, and I was like, I don't want to check my hematocrit and see what it is. It was like 59%. And I felt terrible, but I felt terrible because I had norovirus and I needed like 4 or 5 liters of fluid to get me right.
Top 5 supplements for what? For who? Like,
right again. So
and the last thing you needed was phlebotomy.
Right. Yeah. The phlebotomy would not have helped me, right? It would not have helped me at all. I needed some fluids. So yeah, that was fun.
Oof, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm seeing a lot of primary care clinics and even some TRT clinics. They have their own number now too. Like 54 is still too high. They don't even want to.
Maybe we'll watch that one tomorrow. Maybe we'll watch that one tomorrow too.
I've used 50 Tren. I've used 30 Tren. I've used 100 Tren. I've used 120. I've used Tren for the last 18 years every year. I used Ment for 9 months straight. I switched from 50 Ment to 20 Tren, and I shape changed overnight.
Really?
It was incredible, the difference between 50 Ment and 20 Tren. That's how much more powerful Tren is.
Ace to ace?
Let's see.
Just manage more growth hormone without numbness in your hands,
Mm-hmm.
the leaner that you get. So like the growth hormone can go up to like 10, 12. I don't know how much you're on right now, but you know what
I
I
don't
mean?
think I've ever taken more than 5. I'm
Wow.
currently
Yeah,
at
yeah.
4. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an option. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, I think just because it's like that's the single like because like at least for growth hormone like around a prep you can take it out and bring it in relatively quickly. If you're doing something like NPP or DECA or something like that can cause an issue with a longer ester. Like NPP is obviously better, but you know it's still kind of problematic around that window. So growth hormone is really nice just to like protect your joints, especially around that time that you're going to be particularly dry. That's kind of the way
And
that
is it fair to say, like, it seems to me like I've only done the one prep before, but it did seem like as we dry out, as we get closer and closer, you become more brittle, more, you know, you have to be. That's when I tore my bicep,
recovery
as a matter of
goes down.
fact. It was the 4 weeks out from a show or 5 weeks.
Yeah,
I
every
think it was.
bodybuilder that's ever had like a really serious tear, it's like 90% of the time it's in prep.
Or with
I mean-
Larry Wheels. It's prep.
Yeah,
Larry
or
Wheels.
they're hanging out with Larry.
Oh, they're
Exactly.
hanging out with Larry.
Yeah. But typically it's like a prep tear. I mean, that happened to Nick Walker a couple times. You know, it's happened.
He had finished his set and he just stood up and just, I don't think he was even working hamstrings.
Mine, I was doing literally like a cable curl, not even heavy weight at all. It's like the 12 to 15 rep range without stress, full control. And I remember it sounded like a zipper.
How many babies do you think China's modifying in the womb to cause proven growth and intelligence? Probably none. I'm sure they're doing some CRISPR experiments in China that they don't want people to know publicly just because, you know, it would be a huge ethical issue and they'd look bad in the international community. Like, they're trying to deny the Uyghur genocide and shit, so I'm sure they're doing fucked up shit with child experimentation. But, yeah, I don't think they've successfully found a way to, like, modify genes for intelligence yet.
It was like,
yeah,
zip. And it
Somebody was
actually
really enjoying
formed
your
my...
workout.
The other 3 don't know about the diamond one, are all operating on their own, probably in alternate dimensions.
You know, we've talked about this concept of cloning yourself for the idea of immortality. That doesn't really work, right? Because it's a
It's
copy
no longer
of you, but
you.
it's not you. It's a copy. Like,
Right.
you died. That's like in a teleporter, right?
The exception would be if you had necromancy. Then what you could
because
do
then
is
the soul
clone
gets
multiple
put in the-
bodies and then just soul rip. Basically, you have a Hall
Get on that necromancy for me, okay?
chain effect, where if one body gets destroyed, your soul snaps to the Hallcrux that is inside of your clone.
On the way to top of
Right.
trend video, really. Necromancy.
Yeah.
How to.
Okay. So now that we've covered this, okay, so somehow we got to talking, or I asked innocently, like, what connection is there between Tren
Got my namification on $2. Let me see. Yeah, not watching that.
And THC, if any. And we were about to launch into that, and then we were like, wait a minute, this could be something we could actually talk about during the show.
I think this makes perfect sense. Like, let's say you don't have an appetite, then THC would help with that. If the trend kills your appetite, if you're getting angry, the THC could help with that. You're not sleeping, the THC can help with that.
Shit. It's like what you were saying about the two character things. Like two things that complement each other, you know, that they're separate, but if you bring them together, they actually complement each other.
Right. So like
both suppress your HPG axis. Just so
HPG.
You know, if they're worried about that.
What HPG?
What?
Is that progesterone?
Your hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis.
HPGT. Yeah. Who gives a shit? If they're on trend, they're already on test.
Yeah, I was gonna say, right.
Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, just something to keep in mind. I don't think the prolactin thing is really a issue that people make it out to be. I haven't actually seen good evidence that it raises prolactin.
I've heard that, but I've never seen anybody actually complain about that.
25 P5P a night, so there's no way for me to ever track it.
I've looked at all the research and I can't find anything that really is definitive. If anything, it seems like it lowers it a little bit.
The only thing I can give you is it does give me anorgasmia once if I have a very high dose. And that's the only prolactin related side I can tell you about.
But is that from prolactin?
I believe so.
I mean,
21st $20, the best video thumbnail I've ever seen in my life. That's nice. Thanks for that donation, dude.
Could be anything that's causing it, right? Prolactin controls whether you have an erection, not orgasm. That comes from switching from parasympathetic to sympathetic.
Huh. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, point and shoot. Parasympathetic, you get the boner. Sympathetic, you fire your load.
Okay. Nothing wrong with my sympathetic system, man. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's switching
I don't think prolactin really does that much for gyno. I think it's kind of a made up thing.
Yeah.
I've only seen one case of prolactinemia, and that was a guy who had it without using gear. Like ever.
So just a medical condition. It was just a medical condition.
No, he just had a genetic thing where his nipples just let out milk. He was a milk-letting dude. And it's like,
that's like a superpower.
Never had. Only if you're, can manipulate Homelander. But nonetheless, I've never seen a situation where someone was taking testosterone or any other trend and they got like prolactin to the point where they're actually lactating.
Yeah, well, because the prolactin doesn't really control ductal growth the way that people think it does. It's just the progesterone signaling. It's the progesterone.
The way she looks at you, saying I want a divorce. And the defeated look in your posture and face. It's just amazing. I know that's not what she was actually saying during that stream that picture is clipped from, but I could believe it was. It's so good.
Well, that's nice. Thanks for the donation, 21st. Did you take a week's dose of gear before going to Australia? Oh, you mean like all in one shot? No, that's fucking stupid. You're just asking to get really, really horrible side effects.
Signaling that does, it's not the prolactin. So people will go take these dopamine agonists and fuck themselves up beyond belief because they're on trend too, and they'll go like gamble and do all kinds of ridiculous things, or more dubious things potentially, and mix those two things together. It's all bad.
It's Darwinism. The D-ball crowd, the Gabby, whatever it's called, the Prammy crowd, like all those people. It's just Darwinism.
Yeah, I think so.
By the way, it's funny now that I've learned a little bit from you guys and observed more, I can actually theorize when I see people at the gym, like what gear they're running just from how they look.
Yeah, don't get into that trap. There's too much.
Do Pat's yellow teeth bother you? Would you like...
Shut up. Thanks for that donation.
Genetic variability to ever predict that.
Fair, that's fair. But I will say this, though. People who enjoy D-ball are fairly easy to spot.
Right, because they're retarded. Yeah. They got like a mullet and like Confederate flag t-shirt and shit. Yeah.
The only time you should take D-ball is if you're having like a depressive episode.
A depressive episode, right. Or
I don't.
Earlier said that a single dose a week was unrealistic, not optimal. Can you expand on your knowledge of esters for me? Explain like I'm a retard. The actual drug itself, like, is testosterone or like any steroid. There's different steroids, like there's nandrolone, boldenone, oxandrolone, drustanolone. That's the actual drug. Now you have to attach an ester to it, or else you'll just get this massive influx of hormones that just leaves your system like pretty much instantly. So what the ester does is it allows a steady, constant state of these drugs in your system to actually work. There's shorter esters and there's longer esters, and the longer esters allow you to basically have more stable levels and, in theory, take fewer injections. So rather than having to inject, say, like every few hours or once a day, it could be like every several days or once a week. The problem with that is, even with the very long esters like testosterone, undecanoate, it's going to peak and come down. So, like, again, injecting it once a week, or like, again, that drug in particular, it's kind of designed for once a month injection or every 12 days or whatever. It's stupid. You're going to have a big influx of the hormone, and then it's going to drop down, and you're going to have this big hormonal fluctuation. So ideally, you would just take a normal long-acting ester like testosterone and enanthate or cypionate and just inject it every day or every other day. Just to have very stable levels. So that's basically it. The less frequent injections just end up causing more side effects like acne, mood swings, gynecomastia, stuff like that.
I don't think you should ever just give the public permission to do deball.
It's like the worst thing ever.
No, because people don't hear what you said. They hear what they want to hear, and then they blame you for it when they hurt themselves.
That's true.
Yeah.
Manadrol
When they
exists,
pick
guys.
something wrong. Yeah.
You call it Manadrol so people stop using D-ball.
Call it Manadrol. That's perfect.
Well, I mean, it's called
Manadrol.
D-ball to cut your balls off. So you want to D-ball yourself, or you want to be a Manadrol?
Doucheball. Call it
Doucheball. I like
and
that.
Manadrol.
Yeah.
Doucheball
D-ball
and
and
Manadrol.
Manadrol. Which one you want?
Right. Doucheball and Manadrol.
Yeah, they make testosterone suspension. It would increase your sex drive, and it is like, a lot of people do like it for pre-workout, but it can cause crazy post-injection pain. So I wouldn't recommend it.
It does make you feel awesome, though.
Does
I've
it?
never taken it. I've never been in. Like I said, orals with me, Anadrol, antibiotics. That's it.
I literally
Dude, I love
taken
estrogen.
one time. And I took it one time just to see what it would even feel like. And it was pointless. Pointless. I didn't
No,
get
it makes
any
you look
aggression.
horrible, and it makes you
I
feel
didn't get
horrible
any
too.
aggression.
I mean,
I
like
didn't get any extra
It's
oomph,
for powerlifting,
nothing.
right? And it's even then, it's not that good.
No, I don't even think powerlifters really use it.
Yeah.
No one uses it unless they have a low IQ at this point. And I mean, nobody.
Yeah. Or they're stuck in the 70s, I guess, right? Isn't that a thing back then?
Well,
like
I
D-ball
mean, being
was a thing?
unwilling to learn is not a high IQ quality.
Nope,
Now,
definitely
if you want to
not.
be a water buffalo, you can just take some mint, and that'll probably be better.
To take what? Mint?
Yeah.
What is mint? Is one of those that I've never understood. It seems very exotic.
It doesn't do
rare.
what people think it's going to do.
Yeah.
So
It's,
it doesn't really matter.
It's definitely a problematic compound. I will
Compound.
say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I had a client who wanted to run it, and 70 milligrams, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's very strong. The birth control data on
50
it,
mics, right?
yeah, the 500 micrograms per week.
Wow.
So it's really, really strong. Yeah, it's like really, really strong.
Yeah.
I was using 50 a day. It didn't do anything. 50 milligrams a day. Did nothing.
You didn't notice anything good, bad, or indifferent? Nothing?
I
at
was
all?
wet. Like I was saying before, that my estradiol was like a low number. My total estrogen was high. So it was like I could see it in the gap where it should have been. It was like 50 points worth of MENT estrogen, the 7-alpha methyl keto estradiol that's produced from MENT. I didn't see any results from it at all, but it was an acetate, so it would never build up in your system. So after 9 months, it never went anywhere. Now, if I was using an enanthate or decanoate like other people, maybe I would have seen results. So if I ever use it again, I'll use the long ester. But that's how I knew for certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I will never experiment with short esters ever. It's just because they're completely worthless in every way, unless you're looking for the side effects. But you're never going to get an anabolic dose out of the short ester.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, it's hard to manage because I had a client on 12.5 milligrams of Romacin per day, and
it sounds like
didn't control the estradiol that well.
No, it's Trin with a bunch of estrogen problems.
It doesn't seem like it has. Yeah, I mean, it's potency wise. Yeah, sure. I think so.
Thoughts on Mark Ripito? A lot of his ideas are stupid, but he's based on TRT. Like some of his training advice is good.
Very, I guess on paper, very anabolic.
It was not anabolic at all.
But it wasn't.
If I took Tren acetate at 50 milligrams a day, I would have gotten way better results than Ment acetate at 50 milligrams a day.
There's no studies on how anabolic it is, but it has a super high binding effect.
Would you rather be fucked bareback by Magic Johnson and given HIV/AIDS which you have to live with for the rest of your life? Or marry and live with Greta Thunberg? Don't cop out. You have to answer it.
I guess marry Greta Thunberg. Like, I mean, she's stupid now, but you could just, smack her up, make her not be stupid. Thanks for that donation, 21st.
So like 1.6 times DHT or something, I think.
That's horse shit. There's no way. I don't think any of this is real.
I think that's a modern assay. But I don't necessarily know if it's anabolic, right? Just because it binds to the receptor doesn't mean that it's, throwing.
Right. I sound like one of the idiots in my comment section and say that I did it. I've used 50 Tren. I've used 30 Tren. I've used 100 Tren. I've used 120. I've used Tren for the last 18 years every year. I used Ment for 9 months straight. So I switched from 50 Ment to 20 Tren. And I shape changed overnight.
Really?
It was incredible, the difference between 50 Ment and 20 Tren. That's how much more powerful Tren is.
Ace to ace?
No, it was ace to anathate, but it was within.
So there you go.
But it was within 3 days. It was within 3 days.
Yeah.
That you could see.
Okay.
That it was ridiculous changes instantly. With strength, mood, it improved my sleep. It improved my mood. The Ment was just garbage. It was the dirtiest, worst I'd ever loved.
It also crosses the blood-brain barrier. I think it's concentration, and I was reading one study. It's like testosterone. I think is like 1 or 3 to 1 or something, or like 1. Like it's the ratio is somewhere around there, I think, from brain to body. But Ment was like 1 to 1 because it's so lipophilic and it's weakly SHBG bound. So then what happens is it seems like it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and every single person that's ran it has gotten a pretty elevated heart rate on it. So I think it's doing some non-genomic behavior up in the brain on AR that you don't necessarily want it to be doing. Big concern for me, obviously. And I keep my guys dry. Like I'll use chlorothalidone if I need to, if I can't control estrogen, on Ment. Because like I'm not advising these guys to run Ment. They want to run Ment. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we'll try it, but I'll try and keep you safe. But keeping these guys dry and controlling for the wetness, I'm still seeing heart rate climb way the hell up. So it's doing something weird for sure.
I never noticed.
Unknown non-genomic heart effects. Yay!
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good at all.
Did you know? Were you wearing a heart rate monitor at the time, Todd, when you were on it?
Not really. I don't really pay attention to that shit. I'm like, if I notice something, I notice it. But if I was running a Rocky IV lab team behind me 100% of the time.
Yeah, Tren's great. Yeah, I've actually gotten a fondness for Tren. Never would have figured. Let's watch that Wolverine trailer again. I really like that Wolverine trailer.
Logan! It's me! Wait!
I'll see you later.
before. Humans and mutants can't survive together.
I've tried to keep them safe for so long.
Fucking trash.
Inside, now!
I thought you were back. We were back. We're gonna build a future for mutants.
How many blocks of tofu do you eat in a day? Right now, just 2. Is it your primary protein source? Yes. How many blocks did you have to eat to become Soya the Destroyer? At least 1. Thanks for the donation, dude.
That is why you belong here.
Oh wait, I don't know why I said that.
Tear the beast. The hunt is ready.
Most people I see clearly. But you.
Just give in!
Remember who you are.
Yeah, this game looks sick.
Just can't let a man rest in peace, can you?
Dude, there's these stupid wannabe fitness channels that I keep getting recommended. How about no, thank you. Did Trend make you feel different? Yeah, I had mood improvements. Just calmer, way harder to make me angry. Just more like mentally stable, and it's improved my sleep.
I remember that it's in person, and then that's in the vault.
It's settled.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm never saying that to anybody, even under penalty of death. But like, this was sent in a video, so I assume that he's comfortable with people knowing this. It was like $100,000 worth of massages and appointments and tanning and the steroids and all that and the supplements. It was all $100,000. So the cost of bodybuilding when you do your taxes, that he was able to write off about $100,000 worth of stuff, not including the stuff, the actual legal stuff, of course.
Yeah. That's one of the perks of working in this industry is that you get to write off a lot of shit. Because I'm like, just my supplement stack is like $600-700 a month, man. Not counting peptides, not counting drugs, not counting anything. And it's just like, goddamn. And I'm not even buying all the fancy brands, fucking Metagenics and whatnot. Like, I'm going off of like whatever, it's reliable. I got a couple of things tested. I was surprised to find that like bulk supplements, their magnesium contained almost no magnesium whatsoever. It was wild. I definitely should have like created a lawsuit or some shit because it was bunk as shit. But talking about bunk, I haven't heard you talk about the rate this one yet, so I want to know. I want to know an overrated, an underrated, and a dangerous peptide.
Okay. I have to. I wish I had a list so I could look at it. Hold on. I got a list. Underrated, overrated, and dangerous. Well, T3 is potentially dangerous if you overdo it, obviously.
Yeah, you got to overdo it a lot.
I think NAD Plus is probably overrated.
Especially for people under 40.
Yeah. I think it's just legal, so everyone's pushing it because they want to make money. And people are like, oh, I have low energy. I'm like, I thought it's there for glutathione production. It's like, I thought you're supposed to take this because you can't afford glutathione or some shit. Like, and what was the last option? What's the best one?
No, overrated, underrated, and then dangerous.
Underrated, GH. And then dangerous, I guess T3 is dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
GH is really underrated.
Yeah, the only thing it can really do is like raise your heart rate, give you palpitations. Like, you really have to fuck up with T3 to actually hurt yourself, though. Maybe I'll watch this video later. Some of it's interesting, but just not stuff I want to react on stream. I'm just gonna go take a piss real quick. I'll be right back. I think we'll play a little bit of Battletoads. Fuck's my phone. There we go. All right, I'll be right back. Oh, there we go. No, I've never taken T3. I take T4, but I've never taken T3. I was thinking of maybe trying it. Hey, Gum Gum. Oh. Well, hello there. Oh. You know you're beautiful? Get my big, beautiful kitty. She's making biscuits. That's what cats do. Yeah, they make biscuits. That's a good boy. Yeah, that's a good boy. Oh. He's so good. He's just so good. Do you see how good he is? Yeah, he has a really long tail. He has proportions that are more similar to like a large ass, like fucking, you know, jaguar or something. He also has a really big cat head. Alright, let's fuck around with Battletoads a bit. Ah, don't. Don't bite my controller. The hell are you doing? Dude, it's crazy how right when you start the level, there's this fucker that if you're not ready for, he'll just get you. I like genuinely hate this last level. Genuinely fucking hate it. It is so fucked. This is like the most fucked thing ever. Oh my god. Shit just always manages to fuck with you, dude. There we go. Music just fucks with me too. It's like unnerving. I wish I could sell Gummies biscuits. Look at him. He's right here, just being a good kitty. Isn't he amazing? Fucking asshole. Oh, so that's the... Yeah, that was fucking me up before. Okay, at least that holds them in place. Okay, I think I might have figured out a little trick there. Doing better than last time. Oh, jeez. Oh, fuck. Dude, this is diabolical. How in the fuck? Like, do you see this shit? Just sick. Oh my god. Yeah, having that baton makes this a lot easier. Oh, like it cheats. We did get further than last time, but still. This game fucking cheats. Damn it. Oh my god. I don't think I have it in me. You know, just have a little taste of that, but I just fucking can't right now, dude. That game really sucks the soul out of you, especially that last level. Holy shit.
So the Home Office has come under some severe scrutiny today for a number of reasons, one of which was actually from a judge in relation to a case where an asylum seeker has been convicted of some fairly serious offence, and the judge himself has directly criticised the Home Office in respect of his immigration status, but also because of the ongoing videos and investigation by our Home Secretary Chris Philp. You recall my video yesterday where it appeared that the French warship was firing warning shots at Chris Philp's vessel. Well, there was another video taken by Chris Philp where he filmed the French, quote, law enforcement officers. Now, I say quote because they weren't enforcing the law at all. They were just standing there watching. Now, I'll say it as it is because this has spawned a response from the Home Office on X, which I'll read out to you in a minute. But first of all, let's watch this video because this has what's created headlines, and this is why people...
Forgot my namification on Tillers. This game rules. Had no idea the amount of level design that went into this game. Only knew about the jet ski levels or whatever that thing you ride on is supposed to be. It's a good game. It is just bone-crushingly fucking difficult. It would shock you how difficult that game is if you played it. It's worth playing. I'd recommend it, but like it is shockingly difficult. Thanks for the donation, though. Forgot my namification. And again, it feels very modern for an NES game made in the 80s.
People are quite upset. Bearing in mind we send hundreds of millions of pounds to France to prevent this from happening, watch what happened.
The migrants are attempting to push the boat off. The French gendarmerie are standing there doing literally nothing while the migrants push the boat off in knee-deep water. Because the French say it's unsafe to intervene because people might drown. It is literally knee-deep, and in my view, that is completely...
Oh, and if you do enjoy these updates from me on this channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I know I always ask, that's the only thing that works, so please do that, and I'm very grateful. So I agree with the comments of Chris Philp here. This water is knee-deep. There is no risk of drowning if they were to go and, say, slash the boat for law enforcement purposes, and if these gendarmerie were to prevent this boat from departing by doing such a thing. In my view, I agree with Chris Philp. There is no risk to life here. They are in knee-deep water. They can literally stand in the water, and that would be perfectly fine. But there is absolutely no denying the fact that the gendarmerie are just standing there doing nothing, even though the UK is sending France hundreds of millions of pounds for this very purpose, so that they can prevent these boats from departing. Now, to be fair, I will also quote the Home Office post here, which they put their point of view across. Now, the Home Office, of course, is to some degree jumping to its own defense, but also it would seem, or I infer, that they are defending the French as well in this. Let me read this post to you. So the Home Office post says as follows, and I will insert my own thoughts as we go along because I'm entirely entitled to do that as it is political commentary. They say, we are aware of posts circulating online that claim French law enforcement are failing to prevent small boat channel crossings. Pausing for thought there. It is not just a claim. We can see it with our own eyes. To be ruthlessly blunt about this, we are not blind. We can see this video. We can see the French gendarmerie standing there. It is our own Shadow Home Secretary standing there filming it. He saw it with his own eyes and he filmed it for us just in case there was any doubt. So this horde of men were boarding this super dinghy just before making their way across the channel to the UK. And the French gendarmerie were filmed standing there. In fact, I think one of them looked like they were actually filming it themselves. So the first line of the Home Office statement here, where they say that there's a claim that French enforcement are failing to prevent the small boat crossings, it would appear to me from the evidence that I can see here that that is entirely true. They are literally standing there and we can see it with our own eyes. Let's read on. They say UK-French cooperation has already stopped over 46,000 attempted crossings since the election. Now that may be true, but I don't have any evidence for or against that statement, save for the video that we've just watched, where it is quite clear that they could intervene and they are just flat out refusing to do so. The Home Office says in May alone, 65% of all small boat crossings were stopped despite soaring temperatures, which have historically led to increased crossings. Question, why is it only 65 if they know where they are and they know how many there are and all this sort of stuff? You know, why are they not stopping them is the question. They say, but we know there is more to do. That is why the Home Secretary has signed a landmark new payment by results deal with France to boost enforcement action on beaches and put people smugglers behind bars.
Oh, so they actually have to do something now. Oh my god, this whole migrant thing is just a fucking joke, dude. All they have to do is just ban them. All they have to do. Send them all back, don't let them come in. Oh, but they're asylum seekers, right? That's why they're all fucking grown men who are between the ages of like 19 and 23, right?
Presume this is on top of the hundreds of millions of pounds that we already send France to have stopped this in the first place, but it's obviously not working. They go on to say, on top of the 46,000 crossing attempts prevented, removals of small boat migrants are at record levels and asylum claims are down by 12%. We've also removed or deported almost 70,000 people who were here illegally, an increase of 41%, and are going further to remove the incentives that draw illegal migrants to this country. Now, there's a lot of different policies bandied about, which may or may not work. But what we can see is that there are still small boats arriving in the UK with hundreds or thousands of men on them. Now, one of the reasons that this whole topic has made it back into the headlines once again, making people feel terrified, is that one such asylum seeker, Duc Deng, who's had his asylum application refused 3 times, has just today been jailed for 2 years because he turned up at a school carrying a hammer, a hatchet, a 7-inch kitchen knife, and a jerry can with half a litre of petrol in it. It was a member of the public who first raised the alarm after he was observed behaving oddly in the street nearby, en route to this secondary school, holding a petrol can with a hammer tied to his belt. Apparently, he was mumbling as he walked a full circuit around the school, which was closed to pupils for the summer, and as he scanned the building and approached
Let me guess, they're not going to send him back to fucking Africa where he came from.
it before builders working on the site became concerned, they called the police. The barrister defending him in court made some interesting arguments. Now, first of all, I will caveat, I will hear no criticism levied at the barrister defending him because everybody is entitled to a defense, and I will not hear criticism of the barrister for making those arguments because that is our job. The justice system is only fair if a case is prosecuted and defended equally, fearlessly and fairly. Otherwise, we have a corrupt system. But nonetheless, the arguments did raise some interesting points and criticisms, well, resulted in criticisms by the judge of the Home Office in this case. The barrister defending this man said that he maintains that his actions were not motivated by any desire to injure or harm any person, that this was a bizarre and compulsive act lacking in any type of maturity at a time when he was deep in distress, having left Sudan and his family in traumatic circumstances. He wanted attention. He was in crisis, but he was not motivated by hostility towards children, teachers, or the wider.
Does this make any sense? This guy left his whole family behind. Doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just... These people aren't even fucking refugees, dude.
Public. The barrister said there is no evidence that he threatened any individual, and he found himself in a foreign country with very limited English and unable to work because of his immigration status. He believed and felt that no one was listening to him and no one was helping him. He felt that he'd reached the end of his ability to cope with the HMO, the House of Multiple Occupancy, where others in similar circumstances to him had been assisted by the immigration authorities. He became increasingly frustrated that the same was not happening for him. His only wish is to work and to find money to support his family. Now, none of that, of course, makes his being in the UK legal. None of it justifies his actions. And ultimately, he pleaded guilty to a range of offences, including criminal damage, possessing weapons and a knife in a public place and on school premises. And the judge was quite critical of the Home Office. The judge said, "I have no power to order the Home Office to do anything, but in my judgment, given your circumstances as a failed asylum seeker who has been in custody for the best part of a year, the Home Office," the judge said, "should be doing something rather than nothing to deal with your status in this country." And having been refused asylum 3 times, I presume the judge means taking steps to deporting him so that he can be dealt with rather than being in limbo.
Canada has the same thing. They will not deport people who are here illegally. It is nuts. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Because ultimately, if he's in a house of multiple occupancy, yet he's unable to work, is unable to do anything, then obviously anyone in that situation is going to be frustrated. But if his status in the UK is unlawful, now that he's been refused asylum, the Home Office should be acting and should be acting to remove him. Else, this might have escalated to much more serious offences than those that he has pleaded guilty to. So again, this is why it's made its way into the headlines. This is why people are worried. This is why people are angry and frustrated. And the Home Office really should do something about this. But this all feeds on from the situation that we've just seen with further migrants coming from France to the UK, with the French authorities ostensibly doing nothing about it, at least in the video that we've seen. And so I completely agree with the judge. The Home Office should be doing something about this. And I agree with Chris Philp in that the French should be doing something about this to prevent these boats from leaving. Because in this one video, which might entirely be an isolated situation, but at the very least, in this one video, it demonstrates where the police in France are not doing anything about it at all. So this is the situation we are in. That's why it's in there.
Yeah, dude, Canada has no ability to deport anybody and track people who are here illegally. If you get into the country, you're basically staying here.
Headlines, that's what's happened. I'm grateful to The Independent for reporting on this. I will link them below. You can go and read it for yourself. Always read it in full context. Never take my videos as the entire word for it. I'm sure you don't by now, but I hope you found that insightful. Please do.
Okay. And that might be an interesting
This
one.
ban is going to do nothing.
Maybe we'll watch that tomorrow. Oh, 8 months. That's stupid. That's that dumb thing, right? What's that drug that Brian Johnson was taking? I think that's what it's about. All right. It is late. I'm tired. I am gonna go to bed now. But, big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. Hope you all had fun. I will be on tomorrow.